you kind of wake up. You're cold. You're wet. Your face is laying down in the sand. There's a weak kind of sunlight is kind of shining down on you, but it's not providing any warmth as this breeze blows across the landscape, chilling you in your wet clothes. There's obviously something terrible has occurred. You were on a ship. You were on a ship the night before. And something terrible happened. What do you do?
Well, I look around to see if there's any other people nearby.
You kind of raise your head and squint in the bright sunlight. You can see there are a number of figures scattered across this beach, and you are on a beach. Not too far away, you can see like a tree line, obviously some kind of jungle. You've found yourselves on an island. There's little bits of wreckage scattered around as well on this beach, probably from the ship that you were on the previous evening. And everybody seems to be kind of coming to their senses slowly and starting to sit up. The first thing I'm going to want you to do, everyone, is make either an athletics or a fleeing roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Go on a vacation, Felix, they said. You need a vacation, Felix, they said. Strode.
Are we ringing out my
rest?
Yes. Okay. So, Flora, you've taken 5 points of health damage already.
Wow.
You remember being bashed around. Something happened last night, and it's starting to come to you. People running and screaming. You're on a ship. It was lurching, and the people they kind of went crazy, rushing for lifeboats. You could hear alarms going off. Yeah, and it's kind of the same. It's all starting to come to all of you as you kind of lay there. Felix, you particularly, you recall people were acting like savages for some reason. You'd never seen anything quite like it. You know that the ship had suddenly listed. There was some horrible wrenching sounds. You could hear a thud several times before the ship started to sink, and people were rushing for the lifeboats. But it's as if they'd all gone mad. They were acting savagely. They were fighting to get onto the lifeboats. It was terrifying. Professor Brush, you recall seeing something in the water before this occurred. There was something huge, a giant shadow that was kind of looming just below the surface. Maybe there were tentacles, you're not sure, but it was massive. And you recall all these events as they start swimming into your head as you all kind of wake up and find yourself on the beach. There's 5 of you.
Sort of dust off whatever sand has encrusted to me.
Yep.
Get a pocket handkerchief out of my pocket and sort of dab it at my neck. Is it hot?
You're actually quite cold. Your clothes are soaking wet.
Yeah.
And there's kind of this strong kind of breeze that's blowing across the beach. It's kind of shifting some of the dry sand. It's that strong.
Yeah.
It's not like hurricane force or anything like that. But it's kind of chilling you as this wind catches onto your wet clothes.
Got ya.
Yeah.
I'll look over at all the others and I'll continue to scrape all the sand off my face.
Yep.
Are we the only ones? Is this it?
As far as I can see.
I'm going to stand up and look towards the ocean and just scream out, "You didn't take me! You couldn't take me either! why couldn't you have just taken me? And like, it's such a loud voice. If anybody is around, they would no doubt hear these shouts.
There appears to be a madman on the beach with you.
I'll go over, sort of with my hands up. Sort of, no, yeah, I think we might just need to calm down a little bit, fellow.
What the hell happened?
Anybody have any idea? Last thing I was doing was sipping a nice glass of wine. Next thing I know, I'm in the sea.
There was so much chaos. It was hard to tell.
Let's take stock then. What do we got? Where are we? Does anybody remember where we were when we last... Did the captain mention where we were? How many days from port we were?
Yeah, you were probably only a few days out from your last port. You're in the South Pacific, you know that. Whereabouts in the South Pacific you are now, you're not entirely sure.
I think we need to collect a lot of rocks and spell SOS on the open clearing here at the beach.
Yeah. And also specify as well, it is 1938.
Oh, so my hat's in fashion, that's fine.
It is in fashion, so yeah, you're yeah.
It's a bit strange. It's 2042. Oh, I'm retro.
So you said there was some wreckage on the beach. I want to start looking through some of those for any supplies. What time of day is it?
Right, so the sun is quite high in the sky at the moment.
Okay.
You've probably been laying there for quite some time, so you can figure it is probably it kind of mid-morning, early afternoonish, I guess.
So we have time before dark. Yeah, I want to rifle through some of the wreckage on the beach, see if I can find anything useful.
That's a good idea, actually. Maybe we should take inventory, see what we've actually got that can help us.
Yes. Now, the cool thing about this is you will have what item might you have been carrying early evening on board a cruise liner?
My hat?
You've got your hat.
And that'd be pretty much a hat and a glass of wine.
Well, you've probably got the glass. Well, maybe you haven't got the glass. I don't know. You were swept overboard.
Nice glass.
Perhaps. Yeah. So, what we can do here, there's a handy skill in Trailer Cthulhu called preparedness. And what we can do with this is we can make a roll. And anything that we can say is logical, narratively logical for you to have in your possession right now, you can have it. So, should we go around the table and see what we got? Who wants to go first? Well, if you haven't got preparedness as a skill, tough shit. Sorry, Professor Bruce.
Yeah.
You've got your hat.
Looked at the sheet and thought, yeah, great, thanks, nice one, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to go first? Let's go with Brian.
I mean, I'm trying to think of what I would have had nearby. I probably would have been in my cabin looking at some of my research.
Yeah?
But if
Perhaps
the ship was wrecking, what would I have grabbed for? I don't want to be too ridiculous with it, but...
I mean, yeah, that's right. Mr. Curry, you are an archaeologist, no?
You're right. And from my description, I'm kind of an Indiana Jones archaeologist. Like, I've faced down warlords to get to my... Well, I'm more of a paleontologist, but...
Yes.
I don't know. If the ship was going crazy, I think I probably would have grabbed for my trusty machete.
A machete?
And my pack. But I'd go for the machete first. Grab the machete, grab the pack.
Okay, let's make a preparedness roll then. And we'll see what you've got.
Nothing. I didn't spend anything. Didn't get it.
Okay, yeah. You had your machete in your hand at some point, but now it is gone.
Right.
Yeah. What about you then, Felix? Felix Strode, you are a police detective. Are you not? On holiday. On a
Indeed
cruise
I am.
liner.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely think if it was a chill night and I would have been out, I wouldn't have been staying inside the cabin, for sure not. You know, too many walls. I need to get out and breathe the fresh air. I mean, that's what I'm here, the therapy of the sea and the salt air. So likely I would have had this really dapper leather jacket that I would have been wearing to protect me against the chill. The kind of leather jacket you would expect somebody whose name was Jack Ripper to be wearing, or something, you know, something neat, something cool like that.
That's a bit sus.
Yep.
Right.
And I will roll my preparedness to see if I have my cool leather
Yeah, cool jacket. Oh, whether it, I mean, it might be damaged. You might still be wearing it, but it might be damaged. Let's have a look.
No.
Oh!
Okay, so
Ripped away.
at some point it's kind of hanging in tattered shreds around you, I suppose. It's going well so far, guys. Professor Brush, you don't have... but because I'm feeling generous and everybody else has not found anything, what do you think you might have had? It's going to have to be something fairly mundane, this. I'm not going to let you suddenly have, like, ICBM or anything like that.
No, I was going to say, luckily, stashed in my kit, I had a Thompson submachine gun. No, this, I'm going to say that because I saw the thing over the side, under the shadow in the water,
Yeah.
I obviously had a couple of drinks on my way to evening dinner at the cruise liner.
Absolutely.
So when I got one of the stewards to say, quick, give me a flashlight, I'm going to say that I could possibly have a flashlight.
You know what? Yeah, let's say that. Let's say you got a flashlight on you.
You roll badly.
No, you ain't got a preparedness
No,
for
you
this.
got it.
You haven't
no.
got the skill, so you can't roll it.
Oh.
No.
You got a 0 in it. So,
I
but
see.
I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have the flashlight, just because. Flora,
Getting ahead of myself.
sister, no, that's fine. Sister Flora Godden, if you want to go next, you go next.
Well, I was thinking, obviously, because I was on my way to a mission hospital,
Yeah.
I would just think that I would have a bag with some very basic supplies.
I think that medical
supplies. Yeah.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
But I am going to spend points.
You
for
can
that.
spend some points. Why not?
Come on, sister.
Okay.
Oh, out of
Nice.
the park. Yeah. Okay, so you have your entire pack of medical supplies upon you, which is very handy.
Yes.
Irina Krylov. Now, Irina, what is your profession?
Occultist.
She's an occultist, which is always a handy thing to have in these kind of games, I find. What item do you think she might be carrying on her person? Or had she grabbed when the ship started to go down?
I think she would have grabbed or made sure that she had her evening bag.
Yep.
And due to circumstances in London that led to her needing to get on the cruise in the first place, she would be carrying a small pistol.
Oh, yeah. Let's go for it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So Irina is carrying a small pistol hidden in her bag. Now, Felix and Leroy, you are both skilled in these kind of situations, as in living rough. You know, you're going to have to start finding water pretty soon. You're all feeling quite dry-throated.
And hungover.
Well, potentially feeling a bit hungover, even if it's not an actual hangover. You're going to have to find water soon, and possibly food, and maybe shelter.
I'm gonna like just look around and say, everybody, find yourself a nice long stick if you can, preferably something straight. Then find yourself a rock and start sharpening one edge. Remember, one side for walking, the other side for poking.
Walking, poking, got it.
Are there any?
I'm gonna look around for like sticks that I could use and rocks that I could like sharpen one end with, like make a nice walking stick. And
there are plenty of rocks. There are plenty of rocks on the beach. There are.
I look at the tree line. Are there any palm trees?
There are. There's a lot of trees along the tree line, and yeah, it's about a quarter of a mile away. The beach is quite deep.
Oh, okay.
And you can make your way up towards it. It is jungle. You can see, and it kind of starts off quite thin at the edges here, but obviously gets much thicker. You can see that from where you are. There's kind of like I guess like a high point on the island. You can see trees kind of basically going all the way up to this high point on this island. You just make out in the distance. It's not a massive place, only a few miles across. But it would take you quite a lot to kind of cut your way through that jungle. But not impossible, especially for people like Leroy, who's done stuff like that in the past. That's no issue. Sure.
Well, folks,
the
it
beach
looks
kind
like
of stretches off either direction to your left.
Folks, it looks like we've got palm trees in the tree line, so we should be able to find coconuts for fluids. I don't know if any of you are feeling thirsty like I am.
I think we all are.
Yes.
This is a quick question. I don't mean to bring this up so early. Did anybody have any idea what happened? Anybody see anything out of order? Why everybody was acting so strangely?
Were people acting strangely? I was in my cabin. I don't know. I heard screams, but I thought that was to do with the ship going down after we listed.
It's like a mad scramble for the lifeboats, like every person for themselves. I haven't seen anything quite like it.
that's very civilian-like. Civilians, that's what they do. Not organized, not trained, scrambling over to save themselves.
Thing in the water.
You saw something in the water.
Well, I assume that's what they were running from. A shadow in the water, like a big octopus.
Well, the ship must have hit something. Maybe you heard that noise, that grinding noise. We must have hit some rocks. Must have been some...
Possible.
Ship was listing as well, like something grabbed it. That's why I wondered what the shadow was all about. Nobody saw that? Nobody even remotely even saw anything in the water? I know it was night time, but...
No.
No.
It's stare over the edge.
That's strange.
It's not surprising, though. It's theorized that there's probably a great many large species in the deep ocean. We can't have found them all yet.
Something big enough to attack a ship? Doesn't sound...
There always have been things that large. Just because we haven't found them yet so far in the ocean doesn't mean they aren't there. There's quite a number of things in my field I've seen that are that large.
We have to concentrate on surviving now and finding those things that we need. We could tell ghost stories around the fireplace later. Fire pit.
Agreed.
Let's see if you could shake any of those coconuts down off the trees. Bring a helmet if you got one.
Okay, so by the time you kind of reach the trees and you're looking up at these kind of these palms, there doesn't appear to be anything like coconuts hanging from them.
Of course not.
There are a great number of different tropical plants here that you're familiar with some of them. So you can see that there's a number of them which would be quite unpleasant to eat if you were to do so. Wouldn't be very good for you. There's a couple of choices that are kind of facing you now. Do you camp on the beach, which kind of exposes you more to the elements and any kind of insect life, or do you go and build a shelter in the jungle, which would kind of lessen those kind of problems, but who knows what's in the jungle?
Looking towards the jungle, do we see this as the tree line rise? Does it look like there's a a large like mountain or an area? Or...
Yeah, he said it kind of consistently rises up to an elevation near the center of the island.
Like
find
a volcanic
some caves to take shelter in then.
Oh, maybe. Would require you to enter the jungle to go and have a look.
Would we be able to detect or notice if there are any game trails, like trails that animals use? If there are animals walking through here, their trails should lead to fresh water.
Yeah. Do you want to spend a point of outdoorsman on that, Felix? Would you like to?
I would love to, yes. And
Yes.
I will, I guess, press the plus button.
Yeah.
And
There you go. You spend your point of outdoorsman, and through your little inspection, as you're kind of looking through this stuff, you can see that there are indeed tracks for animals. Probably some kind of boar or something like that. It looks like that, certainly from the what do they call them? Trotter prints. So there's definitely some animal life. You can also hear. There's obviously gulls around, so you know that there are birds flying around here, and also there are sounds coming from the jungle, the usual sounds you might expect.
So I'm going, guys. Looks like there's some sort of boar trail here or something. Make sure your your sticks are sharpened. We may be able to hunt ourselves some dinner. Let's see if these tracks lead to anything resembling fresh water. Then we can look for maybe a cave to shelter for the evening time and figure out what our next step will be. Okay, follow me. And I'm just going to assume, I'm not even going to, I'm just...
You're going to, head into the jungle.
Head into the jungle.
You do. And as soon as you kind of clear you leave for the beach, head into the jungle, you kind of notice there's kind of like a mist that kind of rolls in through the tree line and kind of engulfs this whole area that you're kind of walking through. It's not that you can't see anything. You know, you can still see through it, but it's this kind of faint mist that suddenly kind of seems to roll in almost as soon as you enter the jungle. And there's something not quite right about it. And I would like I think it's Felix and Professor Brush, to make stability. Wouldn't.
Ability.
Yeah.
I'm going to use 1 point.
Okay. Yep, you're both good. You're okay. There's something not quite right about it. There's something kind of puts you on edge, and you kind of feel the hairs on your arms kind of stand up. Something's troubling you, but you're not sure what it is. You step into the jungle and the fog swirls around you. It gets quite dense.
You're an educated man. Maybe, do you know anything about this area or the islands in this area? This mist doesn't seem natural to me. Maybe there's a certain phenomena that you know about or studied?
Well, to be honest with you, my old fellow, my skills lie in the realms of chemistry, so you show me a strangely coloured liquid and I can give you a million answers. But this? No. Sorry, South Pacific Islands are not my forte. Especially strange fogs. I'm thinking maybe we should exit the jungle?
Well, still haven't solved the problem of water or food.
Yeah, we won't solve it, unfortunately, if we're staggering around, not being able to see where we're going and terrified to our bones.
Well,
perhaps we could head further up the beach. Maybe it's different further on the other side of the island, maybe?
Well, we still have the trail over here. I mean, if the boars are able to pass through this area, we can. I'm just worried about time. I mean, how much time do we have to search for other trails that might lead to other areas? And if this fog...
We have as much time as we're going to be stuck on this island, I would imagine.
Well, we have before nightfall at this point to find shelter.
Well, there's plenty of wood to make a fire. The issue is do we have easy access to water? Without coconuts, that's going to be a problem. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to suggest about the water. Maybe we could see if there's anything running from the jungle to the sea and follow it back. It should
if we
become
catch
clean
a
water.
stream, going to the sea, I was going to say the same thing, and it might be easier to travel and find that if we stick to the beach, like the professor is suggesting.
We might even find more wreckage from the boat. Maybe something that can help us. Some, I don't know, supplies. Maybe a nice bottle of Chianti.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh yes.
So, have we gone in too far as to when we turn around not be able to find our way back to the beach, or are we able to find our way back?
No, you can
to
find
the
your way.
beach?
You've not really come too far in. You could find your way back easy enough if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what everybody wants to do?
Oh yes. I'm in the big spooky jungle with mist. Yes.
Yeah. What about does Flora and Irina? Are you all on board with that, or is there something else you would like to do?
I think it's just when them right now water is a priority. So yeah, we want to go back and try and find some water, and then worry about setting up camp. I think if it gets too dark, anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Irene will be up for that as well, and kind of thinking maybe when back at the beach, looking for any large bits, keep an eye on like large bits of shipwreckage would be of use.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do with geology to at least guess which direction there might be a stream based on the rise in the island, or just to have an idea of which direction to go? Because
actually, yes, there is something you could do with geology. You've kind of you've walked a few, maybe a couple of 100 yards into the jungle. And maybe you can hear, after you've gone so far, you can hear perhaps the sound of running water.
Okay. Well, I tell everybody, wait, hang on 1 second, be quiet. And I listen. I'm like, oh, actually, I can hear running water.
Yeah.
We might have that problem solved. Is it further into the jungle?
It is.
Yeah, of course it is.
Are we kidding?
It is.
Oh, well, you can always
strangely.
bring some back.
Yeah, as long as you bring it in cupped hands, you can bring back some water.
Here, take my hat.
Oh, if it's waterproof, that actually might be pretty good.
I'd hope so. It cost me enough.
There you go. So, what are you doing? Are you heading over in that direction then, Leroy? Is that the plan?
I'm thirsty. I need water. I think we all need water. It's relatively close, so we should be able to go back down to the beach if we want to look for more wreckage. But I think we should all probably get something to drink before moving much further.
Yeah.
And at least pinpoint where the source of water is.
Yeah,
but I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And if that's your course of action, especially, like you say, water is something that we desperately need. And yeah, I'll go as well.
Okay. So you stride off, kind of forcing your way through this thick foliage. It's quite a struggle.
Wish I had my trusty machete.
If only you'd had. Yeah.
Should have rolled there.
I should have spent points is what I should have done.
And so it's quite heavy going, and it takes you quite a while to get there. But you manage to kind of you kind of spot this kind of a clearing that's kind of in the jungle, and you can hear this sound of running. All of you can hear it. This sound of running water, and you kind of step out into it, and you can see this clear-looking stream. It's like a pool quite a large pool. And a stream that's kind of nearby, which is where the sound of the running water is coming from. It doesn't seem to be running down towards the beach. In fact, the weird thing is, it seems to be running the other direction.
Uphill?
Hey, it's funny now you mention it. Yeah, make a stability roll.
Oh.
Everybody who's there, yeah?
Yeah, anybody that notices that, yeah.
So I just click on stability to make the roll?
It's very, very subtle.
Okay.
But you're kind of sitting there, you kind of notice this. I was thinking perhaps your geology might have actually been the thing that triggered that, but so not necessarily everybody has to roll, only if you think you would have noticed.
Yeah, I didn't say anything out loud.
Okay.
Question is, do I spend? What happens if I fail a stability roll?
If you fail, you'll lose whatever you were going to lose anyway, but through failing, and the point that you spend, or the points you spend. So you can definitely fuck yourself over.
Yeah. I will spend 1.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'm going to spend 1 point.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
You're all good. Everybody good.
So I'm not going to point that out to anyone else. I'm going to kind of glance around to see if anybody else seems to have noticed it.
I think Professor Brush may have, judging by the look on his face.
His strange...
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I mean, he's playing it cool.
I'm just going to point, because my skills is physics, and go, good Lord, that water's flowing uphill!
Oh, crap.
Wow.
Here we go.
Have you seen? This is amazing!
I mean, there's been some cases where, due to the position of the land and things like that, that things have appeared to be kind of running uphill.
Yeah, I'm sure this is just an illusion of the geology.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
you're sure Felix is not so sure, and he is going to take 1 point. He's going to lose 1 point of stability.
And this would explain the strange mist.
Really?
I mean, mist is mist. It's coming in off the ocean, I'm sure. That's no problem.
But
I'm sure everything's all right.
The ocean, there was no mist. And in the... Are you sure you're good at geology?
Yeah, with the temperature change, it's fine.
Oh, good.
No, I'm not going to spend. I'm just going to do it. I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink some water. I don't care if it's running uphill.
Okay.
I will step up and test the water before anyone else does.
As he steps up, I'm just going to go, oh, do you think you should be at? Ooh.
I'm just going to make sure it's okay for everyone. It's fine. I've drank water in much more polluted looking situations.
Yeah,
and I take a
guess
big old swig.
The thing I mean, Felix would probably know as well as Leroy. There do appear to be green plants kind of around the pool, which is usually a relatively good sign.
Right.
That the water is drinkable.
And I mean, back in the 30s, people didn't use like filtering straws and stuff like that. They literally just drank out of puddles on the ground, right?
To be fair, though, I'm also sure they didn't drink water that would float uphill. So technically, mercury.
Yeah.
We're intrigued to find out what happens now.
Tastes okay.
Tastes cool and refreshing, y'all. Take a drink.
Oh, good Lord. I'm glad I waited for that. And I basically just stick my face in it.
Okay. Yeah, and the water is kind of cool on your face as you dip it in there. There's no burning.
Yes.
There's the added nutrients from the parasites in there, I suppose.
Protein.
Wow.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Is it worth
I'm going to drink. Do I have that same feeling of seasickness after drinking it that I had from the ship?
No, you do not. Yeah. In fact, it makes you feel a little better, I think. You know, there's a supply of water here. And, yeah, you seem... It kind of raises your spirits a little, maybe.
Where's it flowing to? Just back
It
into the
just
jungle?
seems to kind of, flowing into the jungle. It's not like it's kind of like going straight uphill or anything like that. It's kind of meandering, and it just seems that when you kind of look at it, that it kind of seems to be flowing in the wrong direction. You know that the beach is that away. That's kind of downhill. And this seems to be flowing in the opposite direction. It must be a trick of the light or something.
Is it coming out of a spring in the ground?
Uh,
Is it coming out of the jungle then back into the
yeah. Is this a spring or is it just...
well.
It's a well. Where is that?
No, it's not a well. The question is, do I make you do another stability roll?
Question is, should we have checked before we drank it? The rock formation looks like a large elephant's arse. Yeah, brilliant.
This is the bizarre thing about this. It doesn't appear that there's a spring here. This water is flowing away. It doesn't seem to be lowering the level of the water or anything.
So it's coming up from underground.
Potentially, I suppose, which would mean that there was a spring, but there's nothing you can see there that would make you think
That indicates that.
Yeah.
There's not like flow except for flow away.
Yeah.
There's
Pretty
not
much.
like a bubbling to indicate water coming up from underneath.
No.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, that's weird.
we must just be near the equator.
Yeah. That'll explain
Yes.
everything.
There we go. All we need to do now is find a toilet, flush it, and that'll prove everything.
Shall we follow this water to see where it leads?
Oh, well, I mean, I think we have other concerns. At least now we know where it is. Do we want to go back to the beach and look for more wreckage and more supplies? Do we want to go deeper in as the gentleman, I'm sorry, I don't know if I caught your name, in the tattered, maybe once nice leather jacket?
The name is Strode, Felix Strode. My fellow detectives call me Strode. My friends call me, well, my
Strode.
friends really don't call me anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, detective. I'm Leroy Curie. So yeah, if you think we should head further in towards possible shelter, I think you said you thought there might be caves. What do we want to do?
I would think that we need supplies. I mean, there's going to be I would think there'd be quite a fair bit from the ship if we could find it.
Is it out of me to suggest that we split up? So our two intrepid
Absolutely
explorers
perfect. I mean,
Of course it is. I mean, sorry, Mark, I'm doing this for your benefit. If the explorers go further in, because obviously if you follow the river, it might lead somewhere, and of course where there's water there's going to be animals, so you might find some game. Whilst the rest of us head back to the beach and do a bit of a beach comb and see if we can find any supplies or even evidence of what happened, or even maybe even more survivors.
I'm game for going further in if you are, detective.
Sure, Felix. Gonna be nice to have a geologist on hand as we explore this island further, and maybe we could find a boar or so to feed everybody with.
okay. So that's Felix and Leroy heading off into the jungle, and how do the others feel about that? Are you thinking
I'm
that's a?
playing with the lady with the gun, so you know everybody else can do what they please.
She has not revealed that she has the gun yet.
I'm metagaming. I'm going to apologise.
Oh, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
see. If only we knew if one of the players had a flashlight on them.
Might be useful.
I think between the two of us, we can fashion a torch.
Here, take
You
this.
probably can.
You might need it. It's dangerous out there.
Where's best to set up camp? Should we meet there, or should we just wait?
How about we plan on meeting here, at the water source.
Okay.
Before full dark.
Okay.
I don't think we want to, bed down for the night anywhere where the tide might come in too far.
I think we're far enough in that that's not an issue.
Oh, here, yes. As opposed to the beach.
Okay, so if we find anything that will help with shelter, we'll bring it back here and maybe start getting a camp.
Yeah, tools, materials, anything you find. Containers that we can put the water into. And we will meet you back here with hopefully news of anything that's further in.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
Okay, so...
Find a good hanging rope or rope you can hang things with.
Oh,
like
sorry.
yourself when things get bad. Okay, so is it just Leroy and Felix that are going into the jungle?
I guess.
Well, I'm gonna have more light go on the beach, so I will hand Felix the flashlight.
Okay, nice. What does Irene want to do?
Irina is not particularly in her comfort zone being in the middle of a jungle, so is very happy to be going back towards the beach.
Excellent. Okay, so as long as we've got that established, what?
Felix is testing out the flashlight, but not by turning it on and off, by feeling the heft of it and the weight and the length.
Well, Felix,
Okay, I guess.
I doubt it's a mag light in the 1930s.
Exactly.
No, I guess it's going to be quite fragile. I mean, it weighs a fair bit just because of the battery. So, it weighs a fair bit. If you wanted to club somebody with it, it might hurt them, but only the once.
Okay.
As a reminder, that's my flashlight. I stole that fair and square.
It certainly did.
Well, also, isn't it a ship flashlight that somebody gave to you? So it's probably pretty hefty. Yeah.
Yes. So, you part company. The three head back to the beach, and two of you head further into the jungle. And just as you're about to kind of clear the jungle, Irina, would you please make me a sense trouble roll?
Oh.
But I'm trying to think, would she be putting points on it?
Oh, yeah.
Use them or lose them. It's only a one shot.
But sense trouble, you might need that. Oh, out the...
5.
Just as you're kind of about to step out of the jungle, you can see the beach kind of out there in front of you. The sun's still kind of shining down on it. It's almost inviting, I guess. The hairs on the back of your neck just kind of stand up. And you look back in the direction you've just come. And you've got this... You're being watched. Something is watching you from the jungle. You can't see anything. But there's something there. You're absolutely sure of it.
Is it just me, or is this place far creepier than it has any right to be? It's just an island, and I don't know, what are we going to find a polar bear in the jungle or something that's watching us?
As if.
I'm going to play this for 5 years.
That's never going to happen.
Great reference, though.
Inspired by Andrew.
I don't know about the island being strange, but I think a large tentacle creature in the water, a strange, scary mist, and water flamingo pale has already put me on edge. What is it that you feel?
I can't quite put my finger on it. It's something is watching us. There's something in there. Something in the jungle.
I mean, I imagine there's a fair few things in the jungle.
I didn't feel it while we were in there.
This isn't really doing anything for my anxiety right now.
No. And maybe you think to your two companions that have just wandered off into the jungle by themselves. And we'll cut to them just momentarily.
I was kind of hoping to live a little longer and that you'd be on their side for a bit.
I've only got one spare character, so if anything happens, you got to fight for it. You carry on. Where were you heading? You just kind of heading, following the stream? Was that the plan, or were you?
Well, Leroy, what do you recommend?
You're the detective. Feel free to lead. I'll follow.
I think you're far better at understanding the geology of the lands and where we might best find shelter, or I'll continue to look for trails of boars or maybe other food. Sounds like there's a lot of birds on this island also. Maybe we'll get lucky and run afoul of something.
Well, keep an eye out for me. I'll keep an eye on the trail. So yeah, following the stream, looking for anything useful or odd. I don't really want to notice anything odd game-wise, but I am keeping an eye out for anything odd because I've already established that the stream is odd.
Well, in that case, perhaps you would like to make a sense trouble roll for me as well.
Sure, yeah. Sense trouble. We're gonna spend... I didn't spend enough.
Okay.
I am unaware.
Yeah. No problem. What about, I mean, does Felix want to kind of do the same thing?
Yes, but I forgot to press the plus, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But that's perfect.
Don't you worry about it. Fine. Actually, both of you, you are aware, perhaps one of you glances back momentarily, kind of the mist kind of swirling behind you. Your companions had left off in the other direction a few minutes before. And there, for a moment, perhaps, in the swirling mist, you catch a glimpse of a humanoid figure, a shape. It's more like the mist was swirling around it, as opposed to there being anything there, or the mist making the shape of a figure. It's like almost like there was a figure-shaped hole in the mist. This kind of maybe it was the mist, the way the mist was swirling around it, that just kind of made it look like a kind of a caricature, you know, kind of a human shape. Wasn't quite right. Perhaps the soft edges of the mist had made it look less human. But it's gone.
Leroy, did you see that?
It's just the mist playing havoc on our senses. It's no big thing. I've encountered this thing many, many times before in my expeditions. It's our mind playing tricks.
I don't know, Leroy. I have a bad feeling about this place. I don't think there's much hope for the other three survivors here. It might wind up just being you and me. We just might have to move forward and keep our wits about us and keep alive. I don't think we should be staying in one place for very long here.
I mean, I'm sure they're safer on the beach. At least they're not having to worry about the boar that you've seen signs of. So yeah, heading on. Follow the stream. I don't know why I walk with my hands like that, but...
That's good. I see you have your walking stick with you. Remember, walk on one end, poke with the other end. Words to live by.
Yeah. So back to the beach, where our small group has just emerged from the jungle. Yeah, you're going to start making your way along. Which direction you want to head? You can go either way on the beach. Are you all sticking together? What's the plan?
I think
the creepy. I think I saw something comment. I think we all should stick together.
Yeah, as you look nervously towards the ocean.
What kind of, is it like big, expansive beach? Is it kind of curling round? Does it look?
Yeah, it's kind of a couple of miles. It kind of perhaps curls away, so you can't quite see much further than a mile or so in either direction. Perhaps one end of it, you can see there's more kind of jagged rocks than the other side, which just seems to kind of, beach just seems to carry on around over the island.
Is there any point along the beach that we can see where there's more wreckage than anywhere else?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean...
Oh,
maybe
gosh.
you can see up where the rocks are. Perhaps you can make out from where you are some wreckage, perhaps. It's about a mile up, but there's definitely kind of more wreckage that you can spy on the rocks. Something perhaps ran aground, or you know.
Yeah. I think I would just start heading for the biggest wreckage. More chance of finding more stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So you walk just a short distance. The ground becomes much rockier, and you can see there's like little big bits of kind of reef that are kind of further out into the ocean that are kind of sticking up out of it. And then the water kind of drops off, gets quite deep just beyond that. And amongst the rocks that are kind of ran up, smashed up into smaller fragments here, you can make out there is a boat. It is not the Empress of the Caledonia, which was the ship you're on. This is a much smaller vessel by the looks of it.
Look damaged?
Oh, it's smashed to pieces. Yeah, you can make out that there's the front part of it is relatively intact. The back half is missing. It seems to have been sheared off at some point. There's like ragged bits of metal and wood that are kind of hanging off the back. It looks quite clear to you that the back half is kind of sheared away and perhaps fallen away into the deep water. You can't see any sign. There seems to be a writing on the side as well, which is in a language you're not familiar with, unless anybody speaks Japanese or writes Japanese.
Chinese.
No, so it's definitely not Chinese. Japanese is the language we're after.
No.
Nope.
Spanish?
No, it's definitely not Spanish.
For nothing.
Yeah.
How
But the
aged
front
does it
half,
look?
it doesn't. Well, it's difficult to tell. It's been smashed up quite badly on the rock. I mean, it's the whole front section of the boat. So you could go into it if you wanted.
How big was the boat? Sorry.
At an estimate, it's probably, well, you know, I think of the size of the boat. It's like a small fishing boat. When I say fishing boat, I'm talking about like the trawler type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
probably would have.
And it's in one. This is like the forward half of it.
Yeah.
So the boat smashed in half, and yet the forward half of it still made it to the beach.
Yes.
Interesting.
Does this disturb you, Professor?
Um,
Not enough to make a stability roll, he says.
I'm going to say yes, as it was well pointed out.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if it was the type of boat that set out on a 3-hour tour.
Does it look like it's been here long? I mean, is it covered in sort of tidal weed and sort of barnacles, that sort of thing?
What kind of ability? What have you got? Something like forensics or anything like that?
I do
Does that
have
help you?
forensics.
In that case, yeah, let's say you can tell. Yes, it has been here perhaps only a few months. There's not that much kind of grown up around it, in the way of sea life.
Yeah. I estimate what? How long?
It's just probably a few months. Yeah, only a few months.
So, shall we Go in and investigate. Maybe have a look inside.
Do you think it'll be safe? It's steady?
I have no idea. Well, it's been sat up against the rocks for quite a while, having the sea smashed against it, so hopefully won't mind a couple of extra bodies on board. By looks, I think it's been there for a few months, 3 or 4 months at least. Not much growth around it, so maybe there's something in there that can help us. Maybe they've got a radio. You could use the batteries out the flashlight. Oh no, I'm a bit wider there, I do apologise. Maybe I'm thinking a bit too far ahead. I'm just getting a bit stressed and nervous. I've already failed one stability roll.
Okay, yeah. We can go and have a look.
Yeah, have a look. There might be things that we can use. If not, we might be able to use it for purely for shelter for tonight.
Yeah,
it's been here for a few months, so it should be reasonably safe.
Okay. It's not a particularly arduous climb to climb up onto the prow, and you kind of make your way along the deck. It's in pretty bad state of repair.
Bitten in half, Mark.
Yeah, bitten. Bitten.
Like seeing a large monster in the water.
You shouldn't have said bitten.
I know, I regret saying it now. It's put all kinds of ideas into his head.
Let's have a look. Who we got? Right, Professor. Who's climbing onto the ship first? Let's ask that question, because that always panics people.
I'll go.
Yeah. The gentleman who suggested it should lead the way.
You climb onto the deck of the boat.
Yeah.
And as you're kind of making your way, it's kind of quite difficult. It's on a slight angle, so it's quite awkward for you to kind of climb across. But clearly this bit has not been submerged under the water for quite some time, if at all. And so it's dry. It's not ever so slippy. But it also means that you see the blood pretty much straight away as you climb onto the deck there, Professor.
Blood up here? Is there a lot of it?
It's not...
Is it about a person's worth?
Well, let's say yes.
It's about a person's worth of blood up here. I'm assuming there's no mops on board. This is a little bit more.
Person's worth?
It's dried blood, obviously. It's not like it's not fresh. So there's that.
Okay.
And with that little moment, I'm going to jump back then to our friends in the jungle.
How many persons worth of travel have we made? That's my new mode of measurement. I love it, John.
How many?
A person's worth.
How many persons worth of travel?
Yeah.
Well, let's think. Yeah, I'd say there's probably about 2 persons worth of travel that's occurred so far.
That's fair.
Yeah, so you're kind of pushing your way through the jungle. And you kind of come across, there's like a sudden drop. Oh, it's like a kind of a small... A chasm's a bit too much of a word, really.
A ravine?
Too big a word. Yeah, so that's a good word. That's the one. Yeah, a ravine. You come across like a ravine. There'll be a short kind of climb down into it.
Okay. How are you at climbing, detective?
I'm pretty good at climbing, Felix, but that's all right. I'm Felix. Leroy!
Yeah, you are.
I don't even call myself. Never mind my friends. What do you think caused this ravine? Does it look natural to you? Just...
is that a spend?
Oh, no, I'm so glad you asked the question.
Like,
I'm so glad you asked the question.
I'll spend geology if I need to.
I don't think you're going to need to make a spend
okay.
for that. So you've been going through the jungle. Let's say it's been a few hours. You've been kind of struggling through the jungle here, and you think, yeah, there's something not right. There's something not right with this. The geology of the whole place is kind of subtly wrong. Not just kind of like the water that was flowing uphill. There's something else. And this ravine is kind of like a demonstration of that to you. It's almost like the formations of the rock here, which they kind of displays like the superficial kind of characteristics of like a sedimentary formation. So you can see the lines there, but it's impossible. There's no water has ever flowed in this particular ravine. Something not right.
Would you say it's
almost
non-Euclidean?
Oh, that's a nice phrase. Not necessarily non-Euclidean, but you get the feeling that it shouldn't be here like this. This type of rock is not right for this area. Not the way that it's kind of looking to you. You see this kind of ravine, which would normally have been created by water running through it.
Right.
And the sedimentary rocks kind of look like maybe
they were just stacked that way,
yeah,
but
maybe.
like no water.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Okay,
not right.
that's not normal.
No. It's definitely not normal. And
I'm trying to explain this to Felix since he asked me, he's going to enjoy in the revelation as I explain to him what you're describing.
Okay.
Well, Leroy, it sounds like you're going to make quite a name for yourself as a geologist.
It depends whether he gets out of this with his sanity intact. You make a stability roll for me, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to spend one just in case. No.
Oh, my dear.
Okay.
So you spent 1 point, and you're going to lose 2. So you're going to lose total
great.
3.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, what stability are you on right now?
I'm at 2.
Yeah, okay.
I think
it's only when you get to 0 things start getting into.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you know.
Looking at it, I think that's gonna strange me out as he's trying to explain it to me and not able to, and then I'm seeing this effect that he has on him, and I'm questioning myself, and I may need to.
Perhaps you don't understand what he's trying to tell you. But it seems to obviously quite disturb him. About 3 point stability loss means that your hands are probably starting to tremble a little bit.
Yeah.
At this point, something isn't right, but somewhere in this kind of little crevasse, you catch a glint of metal amongst the trees.
Down at the bottom?
Yeah. It's only about 20 feet deep, this thing.
Yeah. And are there like tree roots and things like that?
There's things like that sticking out. It shouldn't be too difficult to climb for you, if you wanted to do it.
I will.
I'll give Leroy a hand. I think we should both climb down together, noticing this.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend some athletics to get down there safely.
Well, it'd be a roll. So make a roll and spend some points if you so desire.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding. Even with the spend of 2, I didn't do it.
It's not a difficult climb. So, that's enough for you to climb down the bottom.
Felix is okay.
But Felix, Felix
I'm trying to give you a hand as I come down, cooperate.
And you start making your way through the foliage at the bottom of this strange ravine.
Mm.
And I think perhaps as you approach this kind of shining metal in the distance, there's like you make out a wing of an aircraft. A wing of an aircraft.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, let's do you see that, detective? It looks like a downed plane.
Yeah, Leroy, don't get too excited. I don't think we'll be able to fly it out of here, but maybe we'll be able to find
Supplies, my man.
there.
Supplies.
Yeah, supplies.
So yeah, I make a beeline for it. I'm heading right to it. This is a perfect opportunity for me to actually spend some preparedness points.
Yeah.
On top of whatever else is in there.
While he's doing that, I kind of just want to, hold him down a bit. Do I notice any tracks coming one way or another to or from. Maybe there is a survivor.
Well, let's think
Is
about
that outdoorsman?
Yeah. That'd be a spend, maybe. Yeah, do you want to spend a point of outdoorsman, somebody?
I can spend my last point of outdoorsman for this because why not? Go big or go home.
I mean, if you want to draw my attention to it,
there are
I have more
other things
points
you
than
could use. I mean, if you're it depends how you're examining the area. There may be things like evidence collection or forensics that you could use as well.
Sure.
Depending on what it is you're looking for. But you're looking for some kind of tracks or trail.
Yeah, I just want to see if it looks like anybody headed to or from that wreckage, at least from the area that we're at as we're going. And it may not just be here where I am. It may be, further out. It may be once we get to it and around that I'll find it. But that's what I'm keeping an eye out for. That's why I'm kind of, Leroy, let's not disturb too much. I'll go ahead and see what I can find before we destroy evidence that could be there.
Yeah.
Evidence for what?
Of tracks of people coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe a pilot or survivors.
Sure. Yeah, I'll move out of the main trail, I guess, of what would be a trail.
Yeah.
But we need to get in there and find some supplies. We have nothing.
Yeah. There are other things like broken crate parts.
I say just beyond the broken wing, further back in the trees, you find there's like the fuselage of a plane, kind of almost nose down. Amongst
like hanging.
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's hit the ground.
Oh, okay.
So the front of the plane is kind of smashed up, but it's kind of caught in the trees, so it's not. That obviously broke its fall somewhat.
Is this a passenger liner or a like a fighter?
It don't have any kind of. No, it would definitely be. It's bigger than a fighter. It would.
Okay.
Be like you get a few people in there, a couple of people.
Right, like a 6 to 10 prop, probably.
Yeah.
Cargo, small cargo.
Yeah,
definitely something along those lines.
Yeah, I want to get up in there.
Yeah, let's find some food.
Okay,
supplies.
So with your little spend looking for tracks there, Felix, you come across something that disturbs you actually.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Asking for trouble.
Yes, you are, and we love it. Almost like when you first see it, like a dark, greasy smear, if you like. It takes you a while, but you've seen something like this before. There's kind of like clothing here. When you examine it, there's blood covering all of them. The clothing is torn. And blood is kind of smeared all over them. And it kind of looks like something was dragged, maybe.
Sir, you have my attention.
Excellent. I'm going to jump back to the other group while we do that. Who are standing at the moment near the top of this boat. Professor Brush has climbed onto the deck. He's kind of found this dried blood that's kind of smeared. And once again, it does appear like something has been dragged, perhaps across the deck.
Tell towards where?
You can.
Off the boat, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
And examining that, you kind of see that you can make it out on the rocks leading back up in towards the jungle as well.
I shall relay this information.
Okay.
It's a little bit disturbing up here. We have a lot of blood, and it appears that something's dragged whatever was bleeding off the deck and into the jungle. Yes.
Is it recent blood? Like, wet?
No, it's dried. I was going to say thank goodness, but oh, I suppose if whatever was on here is already dead, it might be worth me carry on searching.
Okay. Yeah, you find like the doorway down into the cabins beneath the deck or onto the lower deck.
Oh, damn it! I wish I'd kept that flashlight.
Yeah, but don't worry. It's there's light getting in there through the various different holes in the hull and stuff like that. So it's not like you can't see, especially at the moment the sun is up. And you kind of head inside. And yeah, what is it you're looking for in particular? Anything? You're looking for supplies?
Looking for supplies, boxes, tarpaulins, or anything like that. Large sort of sheets, maybe. I don't know, anything really that I think could even remotely help us.
Has Flora and Irina gone on with you?
Don't know, have you?
Yeah, we would have followed him.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Been a bit cautious when he said there was blood.
Yes. I think there's only really Flora that has any preparedness left. Yeah? If Flora would like to make some kind of preparedness roll, and we can decide what it is we're going to find here.
Hey. Nice.
Oh, nice one, sister.
Yeah. So what have you found? Flora, any ideas what you could have found here? What are you looking for?
What kind of ship did you say it was?
It's like a fishing trawler type. So there's the remains of nets and stuff like that scattered around. There's probably ropes. I don't know, buckets maybe, a few buckets or something.
Yeah, I think probably do with nets, or maybe like if we're catching fish. Yeah, buckets. I mean, I would probably be looking for like what was said about a tarpaulin or some big bit of fabric to help cover. Just,
okay.
To help us with cover and stuff.
I mean, that's a pretty damn good roll you got there. So let's just say you want a tarpaulin, you've got one.
Nice.
You want some nets, that's a fairly obvious thing you can find on there. And a bucket.
Yeah. I don't know what else we could get from this kind of ship, but
No.
I think rope might be handy.
Yep, there's some of that. You
Yeah.
can grab
Oh,
some of that. Or you can make that out of one of the nets. There's a couple of nets there, so you could probably cut that into bits and use that rope.
but that is something that we can maybe see if we can find. Would be knives to cut. Like if you've got any gutting knives or anything like that, or any if they're in this side of the ship.
Okay. So you mean you're doing a thorough search of the ship? What's Irina doing? Are you?
Yeah, Irina is not going into the cabin, kind of staying on the outside and looking for. Like she was going to be looking for knives as well, but is mostly keeping an eye on land and outside the ship.
Okay.
Of whatever it was that was watching.
Sure.
Cool.
Professor, you've gone inside. You're searching around as well. There's more blood inside as you're kind of searching around. And probably both of you would kind of notice that some of the blood and the locations of it in this ship looks as if maybe there was some of the injuries from the crew would have been caused by an impact, as the ship was driven into the rocks and people were thrown about inside, and so there's kind of blood on various kind of sharp surfaces or solid metal surfaces, like people have fallen across
Ouch.
pipes and things like that, or across the helm, and but you don't find much else. The blood trail that you saw out on the deck kind of starts from the interior, kind of as if somebody was dragged out of the ship and across the rocks up in towards the jungle.
If there's a lot of blood, is there any sign of any kind of hand or footprints?
Yeah. Yes, there are. Yeah, you can make out.
They're not like.
They are. Well, it looks like boot prints.
Okay.
And certainly human hands. Yeah.
No, like paw prints or anything to say it's.
No paw print.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Oh, never ask for paw prints.
But you found everything that you can find on the ship, and yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything else of use. You don't find any knives or anything. It's almost as if perhaps some of the really useful stuff has been taken away.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I think the idea that we were being watched might have some truth in it, because somebody has taken this body away and there's boot prints here, which means somebody survived and has got onto the island and has taken the body away for some reason. So I hope to God they do find food out there. It's yeah, I don't think we're alone at all.
No, I think we need to be very careful. They may be, you never know, they may be able to help if they've survived this long.
True, but I'm going to have to ask the question why they dragged somebody who was obviously heavily bleeding off the boat over the rocks and into the jungle.
I mean, they might not have been heavily bleeding. It could have just been laid in the blood.
Probably not the greatest thing to suggest, but maybe they were dead. Not the people doing the dragging, the person they were dragging. And rather than leaving it out to rot and waft, they've taken it to the interior to bury it.
That would be the sensible, civilized thing to do. I agree.
Yes, reasonable.
Cool. And you want to do anything else, anybody?
Yeah, I want to get the hell out of here. I'm
You exit the boat.
Let's go.
You exit the boat. Too sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. So you clamber out. The sun is starting to get lower in the sky now. Getting down towards the horizon. Looks very picturesque as it kind of is heading out towards the horizon over the ocean there.
Once it gets dark, maybe we should head back to the campsite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to meet up with the other guys.
Don't
So
say
you're
mate, I'm starving.
Yeah, you head out that way, back towards the area where you're going to camp. Back in the jungle. What are you guys up to? You're looking at this plane. You have found the remains of somebody's clothing covered in blood.
Well, Leroy, I think first priority is maybe there was like some sort of inflatable raft if they had those in 1938 on planes.
Yeah, I don't know. But
It's in
definitely need
Jones
to...
will say it happens here.
Collecting water. And
So yeah, get inside the plane and search it.
Okay. It's a bit treacherous climbing up into the plane, but you know, you're up to the task, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give it a go with an athletics roll of some kind to see if you can climb up without hurting yourself?
And again, I'm gonna spend. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 2.
Yep.
I'm right behind you.
Perfect. Okay. Nice one. So you both managed to climb up into the fuselage and then climb down towards the cabin. So this plane, it's fairly big. It looks like it would have held up to 4 people, including the pilot. So the kind of seats that are kind of scattered around. A lot of the stuff has kind of fallen down towards the front, which means that you're kind of clinging onto stuff while you're kind of searching through
Sure.
all the bits that have kind of fallen down at the front of the plane. And you want to kind of I know we need to. Yeah, let's think about what we're going to find in this plane then. What stuff? You want to make preparedness rolls if you have any point. Well, even if you haven't got the points left, you can still roll it. Just you can't add any points to it to improve your chances.
So I will start off. Oh, nice. Go ahead, Jake.
Okay.
Do it.
No, I just made the roll. I'll let.
Nope.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No. What do you?
What do you?
Do we get to call what we found? What are you looking for? Yeah.
Let's go for that. Say yes.
Well, I'm looking for survival goods. Like maybe there's a crash preparedness kit or some sort of powdered water. All you need to do is add water rations type of thing.
Powdered water. Just add water.
Yeah, I just add water. It's powdered water. You'll get water. I mean, anything. Even at this point, if there were, survival knives and machetes, something like that. That this plane, given where it's going, from and to, might have as preparedness. In case
yes,
of,
there are 4 parachutes. There are 4 parachutes within this plane. There is a... Oh, what do you think? You want a survival knife? You've got
Sure.
one. Anything? What about what does Leroy find?
Well, with the high strangeness, Leroy is looking for something a little bit more substantial that he's skilled with. Leroy is hoping to find, let's be realistic. He wants to find a gun, but what he really wants is a flare gun with flares.
I think that makes perfect sense for you to have a flare gun. Yeah, why not?
So,
Yeah, I mean, did you want a flare gun or do you want a regular gun?
well, I mean, if you're letting me have a flare gun piggybacking off of Jake, I'll take that. And then I'll make a secondary spend for a regular gun.
Well, you got 5 points there. Let's say
I've got a decent amount.
You've got like let's say it's like the survival knife. It's the equivalent of like a machete that you've got there, Felix.
Okay.
And Leroy, you've between the two of you, you've found a flare gun, maybe with 2 flares. Yeah.
Okay.
And you found yourself a small revolver with 6 bullets.
Like a Navy revolver. Okay.
Yeah.
We should.
And
we
as you
should
kind
make
of
these parachutes, we can make shelter from the.
We could. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So we each shoulder 2 each.
Yeah.
Well, the parachutes we can throw out down to the ground, and then climb out with everything else. So yeah,
you're taking all of the chutes, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. And as you're doing that, Felix, as you're kind of clambering out, your foot kind of slips on the kind of... Is it a dashboard in a cockpit? I don't know if it's a dashboard.
The panel. Control panel.
The control panel in the plane. And there's kind of like a... what the aircraft equivalent of a glove box, if you like. That kind of falls open. And you hear something kind of falls down and kind of hits the front of the plane as you're kind of trying to climb out. And you kind of look down. You can just make out what appears to be like a notebook.
Can you reach it, detective?
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that the fuselage is down, and so all this stuff. Yep. Did we even check to see if there was a pilot or a co-pilot in the seat?
There's nobody in the seat. All you've seen so far is the bloody clothing outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Okay, so
were there any signs of blood inside?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, maybe they were able to parachute out. I mean, you said how many? Okay,
there's
I'm going to see if I can grab the notebook.
4 parachutes that you've got.
We have 4, but like that little parachute container, do I notice 2 were missing? Like, were there 6 originally? Am I able to tell?
Yeah, I'm going to say you can tell. No, it looks like they're all present and correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they went down with the plane.
Okay, that's all right. I'll reach over to grab the notebook and hand it over to Leroy.
Okay, and then you're going to clamber out of the plane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. As you kind of climb out, you kind of notice that the sun is starting to get low.
Good thing we have this flashlight.
Yeah, exactly. Very useful. However, there is a noise that disturbs you. Seems to be coming out of the jungle.
From the way we came, or further ahead?
It seems to be all around you.
Oh.
That must be because we're in a ravine. The noise must be reverberating.
Well, maybe.
Does it sound boar-like?
No.
Then do I need to make a
That would be
sanity
great.
roll?
Yes, let's have a stability roll.
From both of us?
Yeah, why not? Because it does not
I mean,
sound
I hear
natural.
it. Yeah, like. Okay. I'm not going to spend any.
Okay.
Because I only got 2 left. Let's see where we're at.
Okay. You're only gonna lose 1 point of stability there. Leroy, you're okay. You've reasoned this one out. You're right. It sounds like it's all around you just because the ravine is kind of echoing it around you, right? And this is obviously something somewhere far off. This whole unnatural ravine is obviously making the sound. The wind blowing down it, I don't know, through the trees is making it sound wrong. That's right, isn't it, Felix? It's fine.
I'm telling you, we're in a ravine. I told you. We're just in a ravine, that's why. Not a boar, though. I'll give you that.
Are you heading back to camp?
Well, that's a question.
Oh, wow. I just turned my volume up. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. It's just the wind. The wind is going through. It's getting night.
Yeah, it's just the wind. It's just the
noise,
wind. That's all it
noise
is.
coming
Yeah,
off.
sure.
It is getting late. I would have wanted to explore further and find shelter, but I guess we'll have to do with the parachutes.
Yeah, let's grab the parachutes and head back to the pool.
Okay, and
You lead the way. I've got the gun out with my precious 6 bullets.
Well, in the police force, we always learned the one with the gun should go forward so he doesn't kind of shoot the person behind or in front of him.
I'm not aiming at you. I'm keeping an eye on our backs as we go.
No, just mind your crossfire lines and okay.
I will.
Yeah,
I'm trained in how to use a gun. Don't worry, detective.
okay, and as soon as it started, the strange noise kind of disappears, but not before. You hear a strange kind of chuckle first.
A chuckle? Who's there? Did you hear that, detective? That was a person.
Maybe the pilot did survive and has gone mad. We're here to help. You can finally be rescued. I'm going to shout this out loud. You're going to be safe now. It's going to be okay.
Oh, there's one other thing you found. I've just realized. Can we retcon something?
Sure.
There's a fucking radio on the plane, isn't there?
Oh, of course there
good.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's on the plane.
It's
on
not
the plane.
like it's not something we can pull out and bring with us.
Well, the cool thing about this particular radio is that people that have the right abilities could actually retrieve the radio, and there is a battery pack.
Like
and it's
maybe
one of those
mechanics?
newfangled ones made by the Tesla company of California.
Oh. Would mechanics be the appropriate skill?
I think electrical repair may be the appropriate skill.
Oh. Is electrical repair the appropriate skill?
It's funny you should ask.
Do I need to spend or roll?
You are going to roll, but the difficulty is going to be 3.
Difficulty is 3. Well, with the way I've been rolling, I'm still going to spend.
Yep.
Because
we need a radio.
Radio to broadcast an SOS.
I'm spending both of my points. We need a radio.
Okay. You have one. You managed to retrieve it. Now, this battery is quite heavy. It's about the size of a like a bread basket, if you like, and it weighs about 30 pounds. It's quite heavy.
Wow.
But you manage to retrieve these items and climb down from the plane with them. And you're going to make your way back towards the camp. Is that the plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, you know what we could do? I could fire up a flare and have them come to us.
I don't think
know?
they'd know that it was us.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, let's head back to the pool.
And it's kind of thick. I'm going to try to use the leather straps from my basically ruined leather jacket, which I loved so much because it was really cool. It suited me
guilty
perfectly.
taking it from you now.
And I'm going to fashion some way to attach the battery to the parachute that I could wear like a backpack, like just to make it easier to carry and move without having to drop it if we need to run.
You've got outdoorsman, haven't you? As an ability. Even if you've got no points left in it, if you've spent them all, you still have that ability.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
Yeah, okay.
You can do that. And it doesn't take you too long. And before long, you're making your way back through the jungle towards your companions.
And we've already kind of blazed that trail a bit, so...
Yes. Yeah, so it's a lot quicker for you to get back. And you kind of, as you get back, night is beginning to fall.
We'd like to drink at that, stream again, just to kind of replenish our fluids.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you do that. And night falls in the jungle. The mighty jungle.
Is the lion sleeping?
Well, we hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
Let's break out that notebook, Leroy. See what it says, and maybe get the radio operating because priority.
Well, let's get some stuff together first. I'm gonna do an outdoorsman spend. Everybody's at the pool, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna do an outdoorsman spend to direct and assist everyone in setting up a fire and also some kind of tent structure,
like a
lean-to, the parachutes, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's certainly possible. That's certainly possible. Something else that somebody's going to notice, and I think it's going to be Professor Brush that's going to notice this. As you're kind of attaching these parachutes to various different plants to create this shelter, Professor Brush, you notice that a lot of these trees, and you've it's kind of been bothering you for a while, that they seem to, they're quite flimsy, and the way that they're kind of put together, if you like, it's not they break very, very easily, and they kind of fall apart very easily. So it's quite difficult as you're attaching these strings or whatever to create these shelters without breaking bits off. It's a bit odd.
As in breaking apart because they're old or rotten or...
No, but I'm glad you asked.
They're just crap.
I'm glad you asked.
Oh, good.
I'll regret asking.
You will regret asking. And perhaps after this has happened a few times, you get quite frustrated with it. You're kind of looking at the remains of one of these plants in your hand. You perhaps notice that there's something that shouldn't have happened, is you can kind of almost see like the cells on these things. It's almost as if the cells had grown really large and really quickly without the proper nutrient. And so there's a lot of kind of air and space, a lot of space between all of the cells, or within all of the cells, which is making them quite flimsy. And the fact that you can almost see with your naked eye these cells is weird.
Well,
You have the feeling that these plants have grown very, very quickly.
I'm not an expert on the different species of jungle trees on South Pacific Islands that people have never discovered before, but these trees are acting in an extremely strange way. I don't think this island's very old, nor are these trees.
And that would probably correlate with what you found earlier about the geology.
And that would probably correlate with what you found earlier about the geology. But you
How
could
can
have
an island not be that old?
Well, lots of islands come up from the sea, volcanic eruptions, and then grow quite quickly, and the Galapagos, that sort of thing. But this, I don't know. I think you're very unreal about it. Very disconcerting.
It seems like it's almost. It seems like it's almost put together by hand.
Must be a phenomena of just being around the equator.
Is that a phenomenon from being around the equator? I'm assuming everybody can hear that, yes?
Yeah, I can hear it.
What are we hearing? What?
There is an odd chanting sound. Seems to be coming from the jungle around you.
I'm straight away going to grab the cross necklace that I have on.
I'm grabbing my pointy stick.
I'm
You weren't already holding it?
brandishing both guns, the flare gun and the regular gun.
Where the hell did you get them? What? I'll have a flashlight back, please.
Okay. Has anybody lit a fire yet?
Well, I was intending to.
Yes. I knew you were going to. Have we established whether that has actually occurred yet?
I don't think we have.
I
Did you want to do
imagine.
it now?
So in my mental state, I would imagine that I probably, with my knowledge of biology, probably felt a little weird about the plant life breaking so easily. And when the professor started talking about it, I just toned him out because I don't want to hear about any more weirdness. And I just kept working.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would say that I got the fire lit.
Okay.
That fire's burning strangely.
And I'm just putting more leaves and stuff on it. I don't care. Burn the whole place down.
Excellent.
I don't know what leaves you're burning, but I think the professor is inhaling too many of them. He's imagining things now.
How I get by.
So, what I would like from, you've got the lowest ability at the minute, haven't you, Leroy?
I do, yeah.
I would very much like you to make a sense trouble roll for me, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Sense trouble. I will do a spend. You know what? I'm going to spend 2. Barely enough. Jeez.
Okay, you probably wish that you'd failed that. But,
Oh, gosh.
No, I know exactly what's going on. Sometimes you don't want to be aware of things. I get
exactly. Yeah. So, you're kind of throwing these kind of sticks and dry leaves or whatever onto this fire. And as you're kind of doing that, you can hear these people are talking around you. You're trying to tune out the professor. You don't want to hear what he's going to say. You don't want to hear what he's going to say. And as you kind of look up, you are aware of a face that's kind of right up next to you. It's kind of to the side of you as you kind of look round, and it is like inches away from your face. But it's not. You don't know what it is. At first, you thought it was a person. You thought that perhaps it was one of the other members were kind of standing near you as you were doing the fire. But for a moment, you see this other face, but it's kind of twisted and distorted. Its features are in the wrong place. And then it's gone. But you are going to make a stability roll.
Sure. As I cry out and stumble back from my attempts to start the fire.
Yeah. I mean, if you lit the fire, it was kind of in the firelight. It was almost like.
And then I'm like, holy
shit! Yeah.
Nope.
This could be bad.
Mm-hmm.
This could be very bad.
Yep.
Oh, God.
That's going to be 5 points of stability you're going to lose.
Okay.
Wow.
This thing.
I am at -4.
You are at -4. So you are shaken. Yeah. What that means is that you can no longer spend any investigative points at all. Yep. And any checks that you make with general abilities are going to be at +1 difficulty from this point.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, you've just kind of gone, holy shit! And as this thing, and leapt away from whatever it was, but it's gone, completely gone. And ever as you look round, you hear Leroy scream. He's kind of backing away frantically from something. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes. Their face in the fire. Don't just. It's fine. You do whatever you need to do.
What?
Hold yourself, man.
What exactly are these leaves that you were burning?
It's not the leaves.
I don't know, man, but I've got the munchies real bad.
I'd like to go to Sister. Sister, maybe go if you could just take Leroy under your wing and careful, he's armed. I'm concerned what his imaginations might cause him to do. Maybe you could just.
I didn't imagine it.
Give him some comfort. I'm whispering this to Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably still saying that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, but almost like not a fugue state. You're not quite got to that point, but yeah, something.
Yeah, I think
is
I'm still
seriously...
present, but I'm not in a good place.
Yeah.
If I lose much more, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
My God. Okay.
What's everybody else doing? Anything? Are you going to try and get some sleep?
Well, at least the chanting has stopped.
I understand Leroy was helping us all build camp, so I'm going to be, building. The camp.
He's kind of directed you. He's probably a little bit distracted now as he kind of assists you in making the shelter, and you kind of get one of the parachutes and kind of spread it out so you can all kind of lay underneath it. Maybe
they got that tarpaulin as well.
Yeah, you got the tarpaulin. You can pull that out of the ground so you don't get the damp on the from the floor of the jungle or whatever.
But more than that, I think one thing that I think parachutes have a lot of is probably cord.
Yeah, there is.
I might set up around the perimeter, and I'll mention to everybody tripwires. So if a wild boar should come running through here, maybe the tripwire will tangle him
Slow
up.
it down.
We'll get some noise.
That's not a bad idea.
Wake
That's
us
cool.
up.
Yeah, we should have plenty of extra cord. Yeah,
you definitely have with a parachute. Yeah, definitely.
And out of character for anyone who's not familiar with Trail of Cthulhu or similar games, if anybody has, and I certainly don't, psychoanalysis, you could actually potentially help me with my current stability issues if you want to take the time to do so.
Yeah, I think you have to be in a safe place as well.
Oh, is it a safe place?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that being out here.
We're not safe.
No.
We're in the middle of the jungle. It's not like we're at a pub having a nice conversation.
Yeah. We may be able to do something at some point with that. So,
once we get everything set, I if nobody engages me at all, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna sleep. Like I've been awake too long. I've been in a shipwreck. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep.
Hey, Leroy, before you go to sleep, pass me that journal. I'm just gonna.
Sure. Here you go. I give it to you. I don't even want to look at it.
And Leroy, you know what? If you're gonna go to sleep, maybe we should, pass the gun so somebody's staying.
Nope. That's okay. Guard. I got it. It's fine. Guard? I got it.
Understood. After he falls asleep, I might try to take it away from him when he's soundly asleep.
You might be able to get the flare gun away from me, but I am holding the pistol in my hand.
I understand.
Under my head.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to look at the journal then. Are you all kind of? I can imagine you're kind of all huddled around the campfire or whatever, and you got this journal, furtively looking around whenever anybody hears a kind of noise from outside. Are you setting a watch, or is everybody just staying awake? What's the plan?
Well, I'll take if it's going to be a watch, I'll take first watch because I've kind of crossed the point of being scared to being fascinated.
Okay.
Because this whole place is just weird as shit, and I want to know more.
Okay.
Somebody give me the gun.
That's just an excuse to get the gun.
Yeah.
I just need a gun. 'Cause we've had one spooky thing happen, and now we all want a gun.
Exactly. Right.
Oh, stick's not going to cut it.
So is Felix examining the diary?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to take you a couple hours to kind of go through all of the entries and stuff like that. But it does appear to be, a journal of some kind. The strange thing is it appears to be from a woman called Ruth Copeland, who everybody would know this because it happened recently. Her plane, she was on like a round the world flight thing. And her plane went down mysteriously in the South Pacific.
Oh.
And this appears to be her journal. This must have been where her plane came down.
Guys.
And as you scroll through, you do find a few entries that are kind of interesting. And of course, being a Cthulhu game, we have to have a handout.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So if
I'm looking at it out of character.
yeah.
I think you're looking at it out of curiosity.
Morbid curiosity. So yeah, some of these. I'll read this out for chat just because for anybody that's watching, because they may not be able to read it because of the size of the screen. But so it says March the 12th. Approached with curious request from Clive Lewiston. Wishes me to drop a package into the uncharted ocean. Says very urgent. That I'd not believe him if he explained, but begs my indulgence. On March the 14th, she wrote, Lewiston swings by with package. Forgotten about his request in all the bustle of preparation. It's a leather case containing an ancient book bound in some weird metal. I'm curious about alloy. He warns me not to touch. I laugh this off, but the old boy is serious. Wild look in his eye. Calls the thing the Forense Tome. Says it's unwholesome and that mankind must be protected from it. Unusual for you to be destroying an antiquarian object, I say. It must be buried in the sea, he demands. Very queer. But he is so insistent, so wild-eyed that I shrug and agree and accept the package. March 15th. Bad dreams. Must be pre-flight butterflies, though I've never been rattled like this before. March 16th. Another call from Lewiston. Reminds me to take book. Says make sure to drop it far from any landfall. I ask him why. He can't just tear up the pages and burn it. Question seems to throw him. He says he knows too much about something called the Cthulhu cult. If he touched the book again, he would be tempted to use it. Repeats that I mustn't let it take hold of me and should leave it in its case. Then Ken calls me away, so rest the conversation unresolved. July 1st. Dreams ever stranger. Feature that full book of Lewiston's, which I had nearly forgotten about. Resolved to throw it overboard on next leg. Taking off tomorrow. There's a few entries after that. Just seem to be general things about the flight. And then that's it. Nothing.
What date is the last entry?
That was July the 1st, 1937. Now, it's kind of mid-1938, well, not mid, early 1938, so a few months ago. Which is roughly, a few months back. So it's roughly, 5-6 months ago?
About the same amount of time that fishing boat?
Oh, maybe.
Okay, so let me get this straight. It was said that she was just to throw it into the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah, which means she was just flying over open ocean. So, out of all the millions of square miles of ocean, how did she end up on this island?
It doesn't say where she was going, did it? Just...
No. It probably does in there.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have detailed there. The last few details of her flight, which I could give you if I could remember them.
It's just like if it's this was in the general direction. It's not like she was sent off course or anything. That's
Seems
and there's-
wildly in favour to land here.
Yeah, there's no mention of the island at all in the journal. It's just kind of shit, aeronautical data and stuff that you would normally expect perhaps in a pilot's journal. And then it just stopped.
Are there any maps of the route that she was taking, anything like that?
Yeah, let's say there's a folded up, one of the charts is folded up in the journal, yeah.
And does it actually show the route? Does she pass over any islands in the Pacific?
Right, there is a route that's marked out on the map. You can see that it's kind of been drawn, obviously, by some kind of navigator. There is no island on the map, on the where she's traveling.
Interesting.
Now,
it's
if this was mythology, a wonderful creation story would be island to whatever this Cthulhu cult is, springs up out of ocean where Book has planted and grew an island. It could explain why the plants grew so quickly.
They've only been here for a few months.
But it's nonsense. It can't possibly be that.
no. I mean,
Well,
you can't
You're an
just create
occultist,
something.
though, aren't you, Arena? You are an occultist.
That's what I'm paid to do. Yes.
Yeah, there's a name that has been mentioned there, or a few names that you might be familiar with.
Whether you want to be or not.
Yeah, Lewiston. The name Lewiston rings a bell with you. It's probably... Oh, she's probably referring to Professor Clive Lewiston. He was a researcher of classical and medieval texts on ritual magic, and he was on sabbatical from the Miskatonic University. The Ferenz tome is a lost book referred to in many medieval works, but it hasn't been seen since the 100 Years' War. But it reputedly had this metal cover. It was said to be cursed. Are you willing to spend a point of a coin?
Yes.
Okay. So just 1 point. You know that Clive Lewiston, he died. Died fairly recently. Collapsed and died, perhaps of a heart attack, on the campus of the University of California at Berkeley. How do I pronounce that, Americans?
Berkeley.
Is it Berkeley? And for those of you who... I think there's only one person that has piloting. I believe Professor...
Not me.
No.
It's me.
Yeah, you know that Ruth Copeland actually left on her trip, on her journey, on March the 17th from Oakland, which is very, very near to Berkeley.
Yep.
I'll relay this information.
Quite likely her plane, almost without a shred of doubt.
All seems very strange about this book.
Well, good thing the island was here. Otherwise, we'd be lost at sea.
See, now I'm thinking something different. I'm thinking that, I mean, this is going to sound insane. No, this is going to sound insane, but trees here, cell growth is so far apart from what I can tell by the naked human eye. These have grown irregularly fast. This jungle shouldn't even exist. It's so young it could even be months. I've got a feeling that she did throw the book out the window, and this island is the result.
think the book washed up here, or was just created from... Talk sense, man. A book doesn't create an island.
Talk sense. We got a mist that hangs in the forest and it makes everyone feel creepy. We've got strange voices in the trees, water flowing upwards.
Be the moms for the southern hemisphere, you know. It's
all that Coriolis stuff is just nonsense, made up for other games by Free League. But no, this is just no. It's just not. This is water flowing in different directions. I'd understand. But going upwards? No, that defies the laws of gravity. That defies the laws of physics. And it makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. We've got to get out of this place.
But how? We found no raft. We found no nothing. We have to wait till we see we have a flare gun. We could certainly use it when we see...
Radio.
Yeah, but you're the one who operates it.
I'm the one who pulled it out. It doesn't mean I'm the only one who can operate it.
That's a good point.
We have it was electrical repair.
Yeah.
Yeah, of which I have.
Many points.
Many points. You have a radio?
Well, yes, I mentioned it earlier.
I must have been so terrified I just wasn't listening. Right, let's have a look at that thing then.
Okay. Yeah. And they bring out this radio. It's a bit battered. It survived a plane crash. And this brand spanking new, almost portable battery. But you can link this thing up without any difficulty. I'm never going to make you roll for it because it's child's play for you to do that. Okay, extracting it is more difficult. Just connecting the battery to the radio, probably less difficult.
Yep.
And so, the radio crackles to life.
You think you'll be able to get somebody?
I have no idea. Hello? I don't even know how to operate this thing, even though I fixed it.
Yeah, well, let's make an electrical repair roll, and we'll find out whether you do.
It must be because we're around the equator.
Of course.
I'm going it. This radio's going in the wrong direction. I'm going to spend 3 points of electrical repair.
Yeah, man.
Because we nearly need it to work.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow.
It lights up. The dials all light up, and you start tuning away. You can hear the static as it's kind of going through the bands. And disturbingly, the first thing you encounter, you hear basically it's screaming. You hear screaming and shouting in another language. You're not sure what it is, but you can hear people screaming and shouting, male voices. But you hear another sound in the background. Behind all of that.
Anybody recognise this language?
Let's just assume that somebody might actually even if you can't read it, hear it, speak it. Japanese. The language is Japanese. And you can hear something else in the background, Professor, as you... And you hear this noise. In the background, as these people and men are screaming, and you can hear gunshots, you hear metal banging on metal.
What in God's name? Sorry, sister.
I'm glad I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Was it the ship that was in Japanese?
It was. Felix, you recognise the sound. It was the same noise you heard when you climbed out of the plane that was in the ravine.
We've heard that before. I mean, makes sense that radio was made in Japan and you're hearing Japanese stuff because, everybody knows the Japanese, they build great electronic stuff. But Are we hearing the other end live? Is that some sort of recording?
No.
Professor, that if this is a radio, is it a two-way radio, or is it a kind of a UHF wave radio that we can reach many other people?
I was hoping to reach somebody else. I mean, the boat that we found on the beach was Japanese. At least we believe it was. Fishing boat.
That was from months ago.
That was from months ago.
So,
Yeah,
is there any way to communicate with this radio? Is it like a two-way, or is it just a listening device?
No, you can. There's a speaky bit, a microphone.
Yeah. Maybe try to hail somebody on the other side.
I mean, we don't speak Japanese.
We speak English.
Okay, and yeah, as you kind of cycle through the bands more, Japanese voices fade into the static, and then you can hear faintly a trembling, distant voice of an elderly sounding, I don't know, sounds well-educated man, almost obscured by what sound like howling winds coming down through the radio. And you hear, Ruth, do not be alarmed. It is me, Lewiston. I'm attempting to reach you from beyond the veil of sleep. It is very hard to maintain contact as the flight of the moon gaunts interferes with the discs. I've put you in grave peril, and I must warn you. The message then cuts out.
What?
So Lewiston? He's dead, isn't he? Is this transmission coming from the past?
I mean, it might be a recording. That might just be it might not be a radio of sorts. It might just be a recording of...
Strange that we should pick it up right now whilst we're on the radio.
See if anybody's listening on that channel.
Hello, can anybody hear me? Is anyone listening at all? Anyone listening at all? This is Professor Carl Bush. I'm a scientist, don't you know? And I have no idea what's going on. Anyone listening? Oh, maybe I shouldn't be speaking into the face of Maximilian.
I think that's the perfect thing to be speaking into. No, there's no reply, just static.
We're on an island, somewhere in the Pacific. That's absolutely no help, I know that. If anybody can hear me, we're stranded and we're in grave danger. I didn't want to use the word grave then, that's kind of disturbed me even more. Is anybody out there, please? Anybody?
Tell them we're trapped here with an insane geologist.
I think we should turn I'm going to turn the radio off thinking about it straight away and disconnect it from the battery.
Okay. And that kind of fades out.
Nobody's going to hear us. There's going to be no ships. Are probably going to, if they could hear us, they're going to come here in the night. We should save the battery for the daytime. We don't want to wear it out. But
that's a good point.
If anybody can explain to me what would happen, it would certainly help me sleep better at night. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Leroy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Great.
Your heart is thudding in your chest, and you dash through a dank, fetid corridor in what appears to be a tenement building. The structure is antiquated and foreign and smells of piss. You come to a door and you kick it down, and a pistol springs into your hand. Rushing through the open door, you find yourself in a large, loft-like chamber. Inhabiting the room are half a dozen vile-looking men, gathered in a circle, chanting. One of them holds a knife. At his feet is a naked, newborn baby. 6 times, your pistol barks, and the men fall to the floorboards, stone dead. You take off your coat and you wrap it around the squalling child, and you reach forward for a strange book that's positioned in the center of the circle. Steel covers are incised with an unrecognizable sigil. and there's 2 inches of mouldering manuscript paper inside, and you reach for it, but you're afraid to touch it. And you lose 1 point of stability, please.
All right.
You wake up screaming. Excellent.
Shoot him. Panic.
Yes.
What's going on?
That means it's Leroy's turn to be on guard now.
I'll go over. I've got psychoanalyst skills, so I'll head over. What's going on, man?
Nothing. A dream. It's fine. It's fine.
It's clearly not fine. He's sweating profusely.
I think it's possible Leroy might be an alcoholic and he just hasn't had alcohol in a long time. Look at his body shaking.
True, Leroy? Are you an alcoholic? Maybe you just need your coffee.
What? No, I'm fine. It's fine. You all get some sleep. I'm not going back to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I got you.
What did you say? But there's enough strange things going on this island at the moment that people having some form of dream is inevitable. But honestly, you woke up screaming. What did you see?
It was stupid. Like, I don't know. It's some weird. It's like a one of those pulp novels. Saw some cult. They were going to sacrifice a baby. There was a book with metal covers. I don't know. It's
A book with metal covers. Weren't you asleep when we were talking about the book with metal covers?
He was.
What are you talking about? I went to sleep hours ago.
I think I'll hand this over to our resident occultist.
Uh,
This is far beyond my ken.
well, what's everybody going to do? Leroy seems to want to take what?
Leroy, we solved the mystery. We found Ruth's plane. Remember? The journal. This was Ruth's.
I don't want to know about the journal, man. Just get your sleep. It's fine.
Yeah,
Did anybody try the radio?
You don't want to know about the radio just as much as you don't want to know about the book.
I'll take your word for it.
We're going to try it tomorrow when there's more likely people up and listening on the other side. We're going to conserve the radio.
That sounds
what the
great.
Professor recommended.
Okay.
So yeah, I just go about tending the fire, trying to build it back up. Probably way brighter than I need to for this time of night, but I am putting a lot of fuel on the fire.
Yeah,
And the
I
island.
mean, yeah, it's quite odd. You kind of sat there putting things on the fire, daring not to look either left or right.
Yep.
As you're doing that. Okay, so the rest of you are going to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think before I go to sleep, I will go over and check Leroy over for anything I can tell that's wrong. I mean, we all know it's a bit. This whole situation is a bit strange, but if there's anything.
I would say it's probably very clear to you that he's dissociating right now.
Yeah.
He is.
That's a very good point. Yeah, you have points in psychoanalysis. This is a field that you're very, very good with, and you can see he's suffering from some kind of mental trauma. You're not quite sure what. I mean, it's stressful for everyone, but did he see something in the jungle that the rest of you didn't see? He didn't seem like that earlier. He seemed fine.
I think at this point I'd like to use 1 point of reassurance and just kind of go over to Felix and say, buddy, we're going to get through this. We're going to be just fine. We've got, look, I was completely wrong. Everybody else at the beach, like, they survived. Nothing bad happened to them. And I will, because I have 1 point in reassurance, maybe to try to kind of give him.
It's different. That's okay. It's not how it works, but I fucking like it. So do it. And right. And I tell you what, let's have a point of stability back then for you, Leroy.
Back to -4.
Yeah.
Not as mad.
It's not when it's when you hit -6 that things really start to go wrong. Okay, so
and to be honest, it's not that I'm really concerned about Leroy. I'm just concerned about him having a gun and guarding over me while I'm
that
asleep,
makes perfect sense to me.
So while Felix is talking to me, I focus just enough to look at him and be like, and my eyes are wide, dude, when I look at you, and I'm like, keep your knife handy. Don't let go of it.
I'm going to be making a nice pillow out of the rest of the, what's left over from the backpacks, from the parachutes. There are 4 of them. I'll make nice, 4 nice pillows for everybody to rest comfortably
nice.
As they can.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
All we need now is monkey butlers.
All you need is, that's all anybody needs, right?
Monkey butlers?
Monkey butlers.
I think it was an episode of Simpsons. Sorry, carry on.
That's great.
Let's see. Ooh.
I hate those noises.
Flora.
Yes.
Flora. Actually, no, not. Let's go with just because Irina. I think it's time we messed with your head. If that's all right.
Aren't you glad you came?
You're moving through a trackless catacomb. You're sweating and you're terrified. Something that should have been safe and hidden has been violated. All around you, there are stacks of bones, human skeletons. And then you realize you're in a musty crypt. And you know you're in Italy. You've got a flashlight in your hand, and you finally arrive at your destination, the door to a vault. And panicking, you pull it open. Lying on the floor inside is an old man in a priest's. You can see a knife jutting up from his chest, and you rush to his side. And with a tortured whisper, he says, "Lewiston." He's speaking Italian, but you know the language. "They got the book. You must stop them before they summon Abholos. Then the book. You must destroy it." And then with a gasp, he expired. Flora.
Yes.
You're in Italy, sometime during the medieval period, judging by the clothing. Burning remnants of a small village lie all around you. Dozens of corpses are strewn across the muddy lane. And you survey these corpses with your 1,000 eyes. Some of them are freshly dead, and others are mutilated nearly beyond recognition, and then reassembled in a bizarre, higgledy-piggledy kind of fashion. But now they're coming apart. Without people to torment and toy with, you're losing energy. This strange realm, with its limited geometry, Euclidean, it wearies you. And unless you can inflict pain and instill fear, you're going to carry on getting weaker. But you don't wish to leave this place, as the weak, fearful minds of its resident ape creatures are delicious beyond measure. There must be a way to go dormant, so that more of them will come to you. Yes, you will do it, even if it renders you somewhat vulnerable. You enfold your tendrils, flatten your brain sails, and convert your claw spears. You become a thing the ape creatures cannot resist, and this new form settles in as you drift into a fervid torpor. You, Apollos, have become a book. You will make a stability roll for me now, please.
Yes.
Okay, you lose 6 points of stability.
6. Okay.
6.
1, 2, 3,
You need Irene
And
to make one as well.
6.
No, you don't. You're okay. You're okay. Irina's fine. But Flora wakes up screaming. Bloody murder.
Hell?
Yeah, dreaming you're an elder god will do that.
God.
You can also add yourself 1 point of Cthulhu Mythos if you like.
Ooh. Benefit.
That's like the worst POV TikTok anyone can imagine.
Sister, are you okay? Do you feel like you need to book it from here?
Book it.
What?
Which sets her off screaming even more.
Well played, Jake.
If you could get XP, you would have it, sir.
I had strange dreams. So strange.
I'm really questioning that leaf that we're burning in the fire. We should try to find a different thing to burn.
What did you
Yes.
dream about, sister?
I'm not entirely sure. It felt kind of real, but it can have been. It mustn't have been. It goes against everything I've come to understand. I dreamt of the book that was spoken about, and its meaning. And it is I forgot his name. Absalom?
Apollos.
Abollos.
Apollos, yeah, or Abollos, yeah.
It's Apollos. I don't even
Did you-
understand why I know that name.
Did you touch it? I was too afraid to.
Oh,
Wait, what?
no. What do you mean?
The book.
You dreamt of it also?
I saw it. It was within my reach, but I was too afraid to touch it.
I didn't get the choice. My dream was I became the book.
You personally as sister, or
As Absalom.
you were Absalom?
Yes. But these dreams, like Felix said, it must be the fumes. I don't know where the name came from, but no, it must be because of what we spoke about, what the journal said.
I don't remember the journal saying a name.
No.
Could you all make
What-
sense trouble rolls for me, please?
Uh-oh.
No,
Uh-oh.
That's what happens when you tell ghost stories around.
I don't have sense trouble.
If you've got no points in it, you may still have you got,
Okay.
did you ever have any points?
No.
No, okay, forget that then.
That's what comes of
okay,
telling
cool.
ghost stories around
So-
the fire.
Around a massive burning pile of hash.
Professor Bush is obviously not looking in the same direction.
Is he even awake?
You look around. Let's say it's going to
Shit.
be. It's going to be. I mean, it's got to be the person with the lowest ability, I think. So
I think that's still
I'm
me.
I'm sorry, Leroy.
Oh.
You catch a glimpse. You look back, kind of behind you, a noise perhaps. And as you kind of look back, you suddenly notice something. And it's an impossible thing that you see. Let me just see if I can show you. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. So like a giant, narrow pyramid that has grown from above the jungle.
Yes.
That's great.
Did you make it so that Brian can see it only?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't see it.
Well, not until, I guess.
Yeah,
Leroy,
I point at it.
Yeah, open mouth.
Okay.
I think probably is the best way to describe it.
Because we all know that wasn't there before.
It definitely was not. It's on the highest point of the island, and you will see. Hopefully, you will see.
Oh.
This.
Just because the mist is cleared, it's nighttime. There's no heat.
It's
coming
daytime
down from the sun.
It is now daytime.
It's oh.
Will you stop trying to find reason in this
And we're close to the equator.
Exactly.
Oh, how is that? Where did that come from?
We need to get off this island.
Is that maybe part of the plane that came down? It's in the distance. Maybe
It's
just
hundreds of feet.
How big was the plane?
I'm wondering the direction of the sun. Is there anything glinting?
No,
It's got to be the planet Venus. Oh, sorry, I thought you were going in a different direction, Jake. The direction of the sun and the mist and.
We should go there.
What?
Are you out of your mind?
No, not as much as you, but we should go there.
What choice do we have? Maybe the radio. It's daytime. Let's.
The radio is talking about things in the past. You're having dreams about things we didn't even talk about. Metal books, water flowing uphill. I mean, even seeing that was enough to drive me nuts. But think of what we're on the verge of discovering. Something wholly new, something beyond the ken of normal human mind. And up there, out of nowhere, that just appears. I don't know. This could make us. This could be the discovery of a lifetime.
It won't be any discovery if we don't make it off the island.
We're not going to make it off the island. The radio is speaking to people who've been dead for 6 months. There's no boats. The plane won't fly. The only thing that we know that is a certainty is that pyramid. We should go.
But it can't. There's something untoward about it growing and arising over the space of one night.
I know, and that's what makes it fascinating.
I get on the radio and try and contact anybody. Like I'm now ignoring the discussion of going to the pyramid.
Okay.
I turn the radio on.
Yeah, and so you're just hearing static from the radio.
Nothing, just dialing
just
this
static.
way, that.
Yeah.
There are things on this island, we've heard them. We know that they're here. I'm sure that they know we're here as well. And they haven't done anything to stop us yet.
Well, okay, so we have 2 plans that we could enact. One, plan A, get off the island. That's Leroy. Plan 2, professors, go to the strange pyramid. Leroy, do we have any way of achieving plan A, which is getting off the island?
We can build a raft. No, that won't work. This foliage is too weak.
No, there's a smashed up boat on the beach, the Japanese fishing boat. Surely we can
I thought you said it got broken in half. There's no way it's seaworthy.
Surely you can take parts of it apart. Maybe take the doors out, maybe the roof comes off, maybe the panels off the deck comes off. You could build a raft out of that.
It didn't seem to be submerged, so it's not disintegrated or
Wait, stop.
any rotted.
Listen.
Oh no. Where is that coming from?
From everywhere. This island just feels alive.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
We're here now.
Irina, do you recognize that chanting? Is it part of the occult?
I mean, technically, anything that is not immediately plain and visible is.
I don't want the academic answer. God damn it! Do you recognize what that sound is?
It sounds like it's getting closer.
Irina. I am going to inflict upon you a little bit of a. It's what they call a driver, and it's connected to your drive. They get soft drives and hard drivers, and it basically it's designed to allow the GMs to make you do stuff you don't want to do.
Wow, brutal.
And yours is in the blood, and you are strangely drawn to the obelisk. You can resist this if you so desire, but it will cost you stability to do so.
He's not going to resist it.
Cool. Right, okay. So, Professor Brush and Irina are interested in going to the obelisk.
All right, so
let's have a look at who else we've got. Duty is
taking
yours.
a different approach. Sister, surely there must be something you could do to exorcise the demons from this place. Didn't you learn anything in your sisterhood?
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Is not. I don't. That is not something you are taught. That is for priests that deal with ridding and cleansing places.
Pray for us then.
That I can do.
Maybe this here is a route to God. Maybe it's a radio for talking to God. Don't know. We don't know. We don't know what powers are at work here. But if your creator is as powerful as you say he is, then maybe he does have a hand here, and maybe this is something you can learn from, sister.
We gotta follow Irina before she gets too far away. I'm gonna rush after Irina to make sure I don't lose eye contact.
Detective, give me the flare gun back.
Oh, I didn't know I had it. I just thought I had.
Oh, I thought you took it for. Yeah, okay.
No, I didn't.
I've got both guns, and I'm like, whatever's up there, if it's out to hurt anybody, I'm gonna kill it. I'm arrogant. I have lived through worse things. If everybody else wants to go up there, oh yeah, I have. Right? That's only in an empty and utterly indifferent universe would a stalwart such as myself be permitted to die a meaningless death on some useless speck of land.
Right. You're absolutely right.
I am going up there, and whatever this
stability,
Abholoth, whatever, I'm gonna kill it, and we're gonna get off this island. And so yeah, I start to follow Irina.
Professor, I've seen that same look in a detective I once knew. He was kind of older. Detective Smith, he lost it. They should have taken the gun away from him a long time ago. You don't want to know what Professor Smith did. I see that same look now in Leroy. Gotta be careful. I'll let Leroy lead the way and follow behind for sure.
Okay.
Irina, come on this side of Leroy. Leroy's gonna lead. He has the weapons.
Okay.
After they've all headed off, I want to watch them go and then go, bloody hell, suckers, and head back to the beach.
You're heading back to the beach?
No, I am not. No.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. You
that
could
would
stay
be
all
hilarious.
I would definitely use a hard driver on you there.
That was easy. Off you go.
Yes. Thirst for knowledge, it says. Right.
Eat them first. They work out.
It's weird. It's almost as if a path has been laid out for you. The jungle is less dense as you make your way towards the center. Certainly, you're convinced it was more dense than this as you were fighting your way through it in the previous day. It's not too long before you arrive at the base of the obelisk. Sorry, Brian, carry on.
Yeah, did Sister Flora tell us the full details of her dream, or just kind of give us did we get the was the elder god and then turned into a book? Did we get that part?
It was just
Okay.
I was the thing that turned into the. I was Absalom.
Holos.
No.
So did you say you were Abholos? Did you tell them that?
I think I said that, but I didn't say what.
But you
it
did
was.
say you did.
No,
say
but you said you turned into a book, right?
You
Yeah.
did.
So, yeah, I think Leroy just had a realization, and it's not going to be good because it's going to make me roll stability again.
Tell me.
It's the island. The island is the elder god. It is.
That's got to be worth some stability, isn't it? But
Yeah.
but
You can hit me with that whenever you want to. Like, just. That's what Leroy is thinking right now, based on the dream she had and how everything is stacked up incorrectly. This is the book got thrown into the ocean, and it decided that since it wasn't going to be found on the bottom of the ocean, it decided to transform itself into an island. And in the process of transforming itself into an island, it probably wrecked our ship somehow to draw people here that it needs for sacrifice. That's what Leroy's thinking. He's not saying it out loud because he doesn't want anyone else to think he's crazy right now.
Well,
Right.
That's what he's
Nobody
thinking.
thinks that at all.
yeah, and I'm not going to make you roll for that right now. I'm not going to make you roll for that right now.
Whenever you feel like it.
Whenever I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
And see, for
You're
me,
right.
I'm not as concerned because I remember the professor telling me about
Kitty
tentacles,
tails.
right? The tentacled monster, which is clearly not here. The tentacled monster is in the ocean, so I'm feeling very happy that this island was here to save me. Otherwise, I might have faced fate with the tentacled creature.
You don't have enough geology and biology to realize that the island is reshaping itself as we move around.
Probably
Yeah.
next oil thing.
Yeah. How's Irina feeling? I'm interested to know.
Actually, I've got a question for Irina.
I'm feeling a bit neglectful of Irina. So
The
I'm going
name,
to say
was it Abaholam? What was his name? Sorry?
Abholos. Let me write it in chat
Abholos.
for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Abaholos. I'm going to write that down. Is that a name that Irina recognises?
I was going to ask that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because if I know about the tome and I know about...
Let us say, yes, it is a name you are familiar with, and yes, it is connected to the tome, the Ferenz tome that you have heard about with the steel covers. You don't know anything about it, but you know that. Well, let's say spend that point. Spend a point of cool. You know that Apollos is kind of been mentioned. There are a few kind of South Pacific tribes where this kind of thing had been mentioned before, and the name Abholos was specifically brought forward in your mind regarding this, of an entity that was worshipped by some South Pacific tribes hundreds or thousands of years ago. And yeah, it was feared. It basically kind of ruled through fear and fed from fear and despair and all of these negative feelings. That was just it. It seemed to thrive on those kind of things. You know that it's somehow connected also to Italy, and that the Ferenz tome was last kind of seen there before the 100 Years' War. There were mentions of it being around in Italy, and that Abaholos is connected to the Ferenz tome. This is new information about them being one and the same. That's new to you. You are standing at the base of the obelisk, and what is basically a disturbingly vaginal-looking opening in the base of it. There we go, child. I said disturbingly, not hilariously.
No, I was chuckling because of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah. That's what happens when you've had a glass of rum at this time of night. But there is a definite opening in the base of this obelisk. It is dark inside. There is no light coming from within.
Is the obelisk like metal? Is it organic?
You cannot tell. You cannot tell if it is metal or if it is stone or neither. It is a weird substance. It's perfectly smooth.
I'm going to touch it.
Okay, and you kind of touch it. It's cold to the touch, despite the fact the sun is shining down upon it. It is cold to the touch.
Not conducting heat.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of the professor, I will not have returned him his flashlight, but I will activate it now and peer inside, see if the light will cut through the entrance.
Okay. The entrance, it's like a tunnel about 20 feet high, like a narrow kind of slit through into the obelisk in the center of the obelisk, and you can see a passageway that's leading off into the darkness beyond the torch's reach.
I'm not going to be the first one in, but if anybody goes in, I have to go in to try and protect them.
I'll go in.
Professor Brush, of course he does, because the secret hero.
Flashlight?
Yeah, I'm coming behind him with the flashlight to flash ahead.
Okay. And the tunnel, it goes on for maybe 50 feet or so. You can kind of, as you look back, you can kind of see the kind of the dim, the light shining in this kind of narrow opening that leads to the outside world behind you. Are you all going in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Professor, do you have any experience with firearms?
Let me think.
You could lie.
Leroy, I'm a bloody detective.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what I've seen with firearms.
Yeah, but you've got a lantern. If you're going to be the lantern bearer,
yeah.
I give the flare gun and the 2 extra shells to the professor.
I'm no good with guns.
Well, this is just aim. This is just point and fire. This is just point and fire.
Okay. Is it loaded?
It is loaded with a shell, yes.
Thank you.
So you have 3 shells.
There is a chamber ahead. The kind of the tunnel, the narrow tunnel that you've been in, opens out. Vast chamber. There's no
Bigger
light.
than it should be.
Yeah. And beyond that, you can make out the opening of another tunnel that leads further in the opposite direction.
Have we been moving parallel or down?
No, you're not. It feels like you've just been walking straight into
So it's a straight line sort of corridor from the vagina behind us all the way up to the chamber.
Yes.
Didn't think I'd say that out loud today. all the way up to the big chamber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we still see the light from outside behind us?
Behind you, you can. Yeah, you can. The tunnel extends on there. It looks very distant. It's a tiny, little, very narrow, kind of slit of light beyond. But this chamber kind of opens up. It's like vaulted. You can see like a massive vaulted ceiling that kind of disappears up. There's a very faint glow coming from around the ceiling, kind of casting a dim light everywhere around you. And in the center of this chamber, you see an object. A book. Your torchlight catches it and glints off the metal cover.
Oh, Leroy, is that the book?
Is
it the one I saw in my dream?
It certainly is, and the one that it's the one that Flora saw in her dream.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
We should get rid of it. We should throw it in the ocean.
Sister, bless this machete, and I'll hold out the machete for her blessing.
Oh,
and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like
that,
rush towards the book and like smash down with the machete on it.
Oh, okay. let's give you a machete then that you can wield.
Oh, I thought that was what I found in the plane.
No, you have.
Okay.
You have. I've just added it to your character.
Oh.
Okay. You rush forward. You hear a terrible laughter as you approach the book. And something moves in the tunnel beyond. It's coming towards you. You hear it dragging itself along.
I'll point the flashlight in the direction that I heard it.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
Okay.
Let's go.
That's what you do. That's what you do. Something abhorrent is emerging from that tunnel. And I'm going to see if I can share this just with you, Jane. Oh, no, let's show it to everyone.
Oh.
Whoa!
Yeah, he shined the light on it, like...
Yeah. There are myriad tentacles, eyes, flappy bits of what look like brain tissue kind of flapping around. Flora, you recognize it instantly. You all need to make stability rolls. The target number is 5, by the way.
Oh.
Target number is 5. Stability.
Yep. No.
I'm going to use all 3 of my last points.
Okay. Oh my god.
Please don't roll a 1. Oh.
Oh.
So what do we got here? Flora succeeded. Leroy did. Oh, Leroy did not.
Nope.
Irina did not. Professor Brush did, and Felix did. Okay, so if you failed, it is going to cost you 5 points of stability.
-9.
Holy shit! Right. Okay. So something fun happens to you here.
Fun.
Yeah, when I say fun, you are blasted. You develop a permanent mental illness, which we won't worry about just yet. Your only actions are panicked flight, frenzied attacks, or doing nothing colourfully, like gibbering incoherently or chanting the name of subway stations, etc. Is the way it says that. You go.
I'm arrogant. I have a gun. Panic
We're
attacks.
losing all 6 bullets this turn, I
Yep.
tell you.
Okay.
Well, thankfully it's not an automatic.
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't you? If you click on the combat tab in your character sheet, you should see a weapon there.
Oh, you want me to go now? All right.
Well,
Equipment.
you're going first, man. You're shooting, right?
Panicked. So at this point, I'm not going to use a spend. I'm just going to roll.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, which is a shame because the damage was immense.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you fire away and bang at this creature as it emerges, almost cackling with glee as it kind of emerges from the tunnel.
Is that a Shoggoth?
It is not. It is
It's
not a Shoggoth. No. Flora, you recognize it instantly because you were it momentarily in your dream. And it is here in front of you.
Oh, shorter than I thought he'd be.
It is enormous. It fills the entire passageway beyond that. And as you kind of see, a myriad of pulsating insectoid eyes and these kind of tentacles that kind of reach out in front of it, which are black and unwholesome looking, with these strange steel-looking points on the end of each of them, and it reaches forward. It's going for you. It's going for you, Leroy, because you have just shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to attack. It's got a lot of points to spend, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
But You dodge deftly out of the way as this spear tip, this steel-tipped tentacle lashes out towards you, but you manage to kind of dive out of the way as sparks fly as it skitters along the ground. What's everybody else doing?
Shooting with the flare gun.
Thinking.
Ooh! Now, somebody else failed the roll, didn't they? Who's failed the roll?
It wasn't me.
This stability.
I failed.
Well,
It was Irina. What do you want?
Yeah.
What's your stability, Irina?
2.
You're on 2. Okay, you're okay. You can still act. So who is going to do something next, and what is it you're doing? We're not going into any kind of initiative because this game doesn't have that.
I'm gonna tear like some of the leather straps that I have on my vest, maybe just like cut some with it, and I'm going to try to run towards the book and not grab it with my hand, but kind of wrap the leather around it so that I'm not actually touching the book, and grab the book.
Okay.
Leather.
Let's make an athletics test for that, I think.
Sure. I'm gonna burn 3.
Yep.
Get her, Ray.
That is it. You do it. You've grabbed the hold of the book.
Now I'm running back the way I came.
Okay, and you're running away. Excellent.
Yeah,
who else is doing anything?
I'm going to shoot whatever it
There you
is, the flare gun.
go. Okay.
At the same time, I'm shouting, "Destroy the book!"
Ah. Okay.
In the
Now,
dream, the sister, the creature, whatever it was she saw, became the book. If that's where the power is, we should destroy the book.
Alrighty then. I'm going to give you that as a heavy pistol. I don't know what the actual thing is for a flare gun, but we'll say it's a heavy pistol for now. You have no skill in this, right? So you're going to make your roll. It's going to be an automatic -2.
Okay, and I'm rolling what, weapons or?
So it's actually firearms in what you'd be using.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, and I'm at -2. Yeah.
You are.
Boom.
Okay. The terrible thing about that is that you shoot yourself in the it goes up. Effectively. So roll damage because you've just harmed yourself.
Oh, I'm rolling.
Right. So on your character sheet, I think I did this. Let me roll it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Rolling damage against myself.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's
Shit! That's not good.
Crap.
Oh, it's all right. Damage. We're looking at damage. So you take 5 points of health damage as the flare gun goes off in your face. It was obviously done. And you squeal. Yeah. Anybody else doing anything? Irina, you doing anything?
So the book is with
Felix.
Felix. The professor has just shouted, "Destroy the book," and then proceeded to shoot himself.
Yes.
Tactics. I am the book.
All right. Would in the blood driver
Yeah. Ooh.
prevent, or would that put conflict?
No, I don't think it would. If you don't want it to, it will not.
I'm quite happy. It's not a proper game of Cthulhu if you don't end up insane and dead.
Okay.
Right.
So I have no, as a player, I'm not trying to preserve her. I'm just trying to play what's a good story.
Okay, you're sure. Go for it.
Well, you're an occultist, and an artifact of immense power is in front of you.
Well, we say occultist.
No, an occultist. Sorry, not a cultist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An occultist.
Yeah.
We're rapidly running out of time, folks. We have to move this on quick.
Anyway, yeah. So she is going to shoot at. She's going to shoot at the monster.
Okay, go for it. In the combat tab, you quickly shoot. And you hit and shoot. Your gunshot ricochets off this thing, or you can see the bullet go into this thing, and it kind of recoils momentarily. It is going to retaliate, and it is going to lash out at both Felix and Irina, because it can.
Wow.
Of course it can.
Yeah. Gonna spend. This is on Felix first because he is the one.
Ooh.
And it succeeded. I did that. Sorry. This is going to be for damage.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore the result. It's hit. You take 8 points of health damage there, Felix, as this spear thing goes straight through you.
Ah!
And
I'm wondering if I could position the leather book in the way so it kind of goes through the book. No.
Oh, make an athletics check.
Oh, putting stuff in that.
Make an athletics check.
Do it.
I'm putting it all in.
Look at
6.
that! Right.
Nice.
And as this tentacle, it swings forward, and tries to impale you upon it. But you spin around, and hold the book in front, and it goes straight through, and you hear this thing scream as the book is completely obliterated by this spear-like tendril that comes out of this thing, and the whole book is kind of scattered in 1,000 different pieces across, and you hear this thing scream. The whole room seems to shake, and the rock starts falling down from the ceiling. It starts to collapse in. The creature itself starts to shrink inward on itself, screaming and trying to reach at you with its myriad tentacles, but it's just kind of pulling inward within itself, and you can hear it scream of frustration, this howl of frustration and anger as the book is completely destroyed. And eventually this thing just dissipates, and this left is this smell of methane and vinegar.
Sorry about
that. And the rest of you are kind of standing around as this whole structure seems to vibrate and starts to collapse.
Run!
Run!
Singeing hair.
Make a quick fleeing or athletics test, everybody.
Oh.
Okay, fleeing.
Ooh, nothing.
And we have gone way over time.
Oh my god.
Fleeing, I'm using. Oh, damn it.
Everybody's using everything.
Everything we
I
have.
just had the strangest dream.
Without anything to attack, I just sit down in the middle of the crumbling structure.
Oh my god. Okay, fantastic. And as this structure kind of collapses, you're aware of Leroy doing just that. Professor Brush, he just didn't quite make it. He reaches out as you rush past him.
I'll tell you what.
The whole
What I'm going
building.
to do, I'm going to stay with him because I'm really badly injured and I just can't get out in time. Everybody's obviously fleeing, so I'm going to plonk myself down next to him and put my arm around him and go, "Well, quite a day, hasn't it, old son?"
As the entire structure collapses upon you both, and the rest of you kind of stand out in the middle of the jungle as this building kind of collapses. Seems to kind of, in these jerky movements, seems to kind of implode in upon itself until it is gone and is no more.
I don't know about you, but that's the last holiday I'm going to take for a long time.
I don't think that counts as a holiday.
Right. We're going to be quick now because we've gone way over time and I'm getting shouted at. The radio is working. Now that the Abolus and his influence over the island is removed, the radio works. You were rescued some weeks later. You've managed to survive. And you have a strange story to tell. Will anybody believe you? No. But thank you everybody for playing. You were absolutely fantastic. And we're done. We're finished. And you can
That was
stop
great.
shouting at me now.
Thank you,
We're
Mark.
done. Thank you very much for playing. We've done it. It's a one shot.